Hello and welcome to the podcast that drinks and knows things. I am your host, Luke, not Glenn, and our episode today is called And Down Goes Selmy. We are recording on 10/12/2018, Season 5, Episode 4 of The Game of Thrones. Episode Sons of the Harpy. Listen to the Drinks and Knows podcast on Radio Public. It's free, easy to use, and helps listeners like you find and support shows like ours. When you listen to our show on Radio Public's Android or iOS app, everyone benefits. I am joined in studio, as not always, but as sometimes frequently, Abby Gertie of House Condescension. How's it going?
Not too bad, and you?
What you drinking? Not too bad.
I have a St. James wine. I
Yeah.
didn't bring the bottle down. I believe it's called Velvety Red
It
or
is
Velvet Red.
Velvet Red.
Yeah.
Yep. I've had that many a times.
Many a times.
We are joined via satellite, Ben Sly of House McLean.
Good evening.
Good evening. What are you drinking?
I'm going with finishing off my 2 of 3 shock top mixed boxes. So
We've been
got
working on
that
that for a
going right
couple
now.
episodes, it seems like.
been working on them. I'm down to my last few for tonight.
He really
Nice.
just buys a new box every episode. He just doesn't want anybody to know. He's like, I'm down to the last couple
No, because here's the
now.
problem. They're done doing there were a summer blend
He's been
citrus
saving
ones.
us.
Is that like the lemon
On-
shandy one?
Lemon shandy,
so
there's
delicious.
grapefruit, and a citrus pearls one. Yep, can't find them anymore till next year.
And we are also joined via satellite special guest, Gretchen from Hogwarts Radio and MuggleNet. What's up? How's it going?
Hello, hi.
Hi, welcome. First time on the show. What you
Yay!
drinking?
I have a pineapple lemon twist polar seltzer.
Yeah. So it's actually kind of funny.
That sounds fancy.
We
is.
originally had Gretchen scheduled for a different episode a while back. I think it was actually the Red Wedding. Does that sound right?
It was. Yep.
And
it was.
Just scheduling didn't quite work out, but several weeks later, we've got you on here now. And this is actually a bit of a Gretchen Roesch weekend at the podcast that we've got her here on.
Gretchen.
We got her here on Drinks and Knows. She will be featured on Must Not Be Named for the 5-chap recap, and she also publishes the podcast that blogs. So we got one of those coming out this weekend as well. Busy weekend.
I know. How do I do it?
Oh man, you're just
Do you have the
such a hard worker.
time to do all these podcast things?
This show and all of our shows are at thepodcastthat.com are produced with the love and support of our wonderful Imaginary Legion patrons. Learn more about our reward tiers at patreon.com/stayimaginary. Friend of the show. That's you, Gretchen. Tell us
That's me.
tell us about your current projects and where people can learn more about you and what you're up to.
Well, I currently co-host with Luke Hogwarts Radio. So you can check that out. Luke's okay. I'm pretty good.
She's-
That sounds about
And-
right for every show of his.
Yeah, right? That makes sense. That tracks. And I write news articles for MuggleNet, so you can find my work there. And then if you go to thepodcastthat.com, you will also find blog posts by me. So I'm all over the place.
kind of becoming a big deal.
You can find me on the internet.
You can find me on the internet.
I live
if you search
there.
Gretchen.
Use
Yeah.
the Googler.
Use
It'll
the
be okay.
Google.
Yeah, so very, very welcome. Excited to have you here. Have you ever seen Game of Thrones, or do you just do Harry Potter?
Well, I watched the one episode for tonight, and that's the only one I've seen.
And that's the kind of commitment we like.
I was so lost. No, I've seen them all. I've seen them all several times. I just did a rewatch. It was a rewatch for me. It was a first time watch for my sister. Every week we watched one. So that was a lot of fun. So no, I've seen them all from the beginning. I think I started watching around episode 1.
And we are now joined in studio by Glenn of House Dog.
Woof.
Wait on me.
Yeah, welcome.
Hi.
It's your show to host if you'd like to take it over.
No,
No.
absolutely not.
He's good.
Well, we're glad you can make it, Glenn. What are you drinking there?
A beer.
A beer, some Bud Light, watermelon Rita, classic. All right, Abby, can you hook us up with a previous episode recap?
Sure can. In Bravos, Arya plays the game of faces and hides the last of herself. Tommen is the sweetest little Minuteman and goes for the record. Cersei and Marge go toe-to-toe on who can be the nicest. Jon does us all a favor and parts Slint's body from his head. And in V-Town, Jorah sweeps Big T off his feet. The end.
V-Town.
Yeah, sorry.
V-Town.
V-Town.
All right, ladies, we're going to V-Town.
Yep. V-Town tonight.
All right, like we said, this is season 5, episode 4. This episode was 50 minutes. It aired on May 4th, 2015. It was directed by Mark Mylod, I believe 2 episodes in a row by him, and was written by Dave Hill, who I think this might be his first writing assignment, as they say. Benj, what was the episode description?
Episode description is, if I can get it pulled up, the Faith militant grow increasingly aggressive. Jaime and Bronn head south. Ilaria and the Sand Snakes vow vengeance.
All right, sounds kind of like a Game of Thrones episode.
So I got a point about the previously on. We did learn that Sansa got new digs.
She got some new digs.
I skipped that in the last episode, I guess.
You missed that?
I-
Oh, you
And-
skipped
She
it.
didn't
in-
write- she didn't write it
I
down.
just didn't mention
you
it.
know, you missed the main joke from the whole episode. Come on. Abby.
I'm lost. I'm sorry. It's
All
been
right,
a long day.
Glenn. I don't know if you have a trivia question. If not, I've got a backup.
No.
Okay, I will do mine. And the question for Quill and Tankard Pub trivia is: Mace Tyrell is on his way to Bravos. Who is he going to send Cersei's regards to?
What do I do here?
So in the workbook there, in your pile there, just type your answer in, but don't hit enter yet, because we can't see it
Okay.
until you hit enter. So
Okay.
thumbs up if you have an answer.
I almost got this wrong.
Oh man. You can laugh at my spelling, but it's just going to be bad spelling. Just forewarning you.
So what was the question again?
So Mace Tyrell is on his way to Bravos. He said that he is going to send Cersei's regards to who?
Oh, every time. It's not going to give you anything, though. You didn't get it yet?
No, I
it
don't see
never
anything.
happens on my phone.
Oh.
It's okay.
All right. Yeah, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up. And thumbs up.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
All right, 3, 2, 1, hit enter. All right, Glennie says the bank. Abby says no answer, but Marin Trent will be taking him. Gretchen says the big man. Ben says the Titan of Bravos. I will accept the big man as an answer.
Yes.
The
Yes!
Titan of Bravos
Yes!
is the answer. So Gretchen's point is awarded to Abby, since
Gretchen.
all
Yay,
all
Abby!
guest points go to the first time watcher.
Excellent.
Yeah, I almost said the banker, but I'm like, no, wait, no, it's not right.
The ice had the bank at first, and then I thought more about it.
Yeah.
I'll send the Titan your regards. Yep. Chuck,
yeah,
chuck,
I kind
chuck.
of tuned him out, so I'm surprised I got it.
All right, so let's kick this episode off, and we have our credentials, our opening with Peter Dinklage King's Landing, Winterfell, The Wall, Bravos, Meereen, and Dorne. Again, nothing new. Gretchen, do you have any thoughts on the opening sequence in general?
Are we talking about like the title sequence?
Yeah, the title sequence and the music and all that.
No, and they always are like, "Oh, pay attention because it shows where we're going." I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna find out.
I'll just probably watch it instead.
I'll probably just watch the
Not really.
show. Actually, I normally skip that.
Yep, skip about it's 90 seconds.
It's very long.
Problem
Yeah.
is now that
I
I have
watch
to
it.
do these scene
I watch it.
setups.
I-
Yeah, problem is now I have to do the scene setup, so I have to see what new ones they put in there.
I watch it kind of, or I just listen as I go refill my drink before the show goes.
Yeah,
down.
there you go.
That's why
Yep.
I made it my question last week for the trivia question. Because I'm kind of a dick. But our first scene opens up in Volantis / on the water. It's kind of this area here. And Jorah and Tyrion. Jorah steals a boat and brings Tyrion along. So there's a boat.
Mm-hmm.
Abby, kick us off here.
So we see Jorah being so fierce, and not that I didn't think Jorah was maybe so fierce, but desperate at this point. I mean, I don't think I have witnessed in this show, not saying he hasn't before, but in this show, just kind of take it to somebody that didn't deserve it. So a little bit of a character expansion, I guess, like something new that I'm seeing in him. And I don't think we're on open water yet. So, well, I'll get to that when we get to that.
Okay. Gretchen? Any thoughts on this scene?
I love Jorah. He's my favorite character. That was my big complaint about this episode in general. Not enough Jorah.
It's just not enough old bear for you? Or young
No,
bear?
I love him. Yeah. He's so
Benj?
good.
My only note was, well, that's one way to do it. Just come up, punch the guy, take the boat. Drop the Dorfin, and let's go.
Yeah, just kind of lays him out, decks him a bit, if you will. Glenny?
They're gonna need a bigger boat.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
You don't know what's in those waters.
That's true.
So
Yeah. I didn't have a whole lot on this, other than, just kind of funny for him to walk up and just lay the guy out and be like, oh, that boat, that's my boat.
show him who's boss.
I'm going to take this boat.
Very Jack Sparrow.
It was, why is the rum always gone? But yeah, he's a man. He pushes that boat out there and just
Yeah.
gets moving, I guess. Next scene that we have is the same duo with Jorah and Tyrion. Tyrion figures out who his captor is and deduces a plan. Hey, Benj, why don't you deduce your notes for us?
Now, there's some fucking consolidation for you. They basically took 3 chapters worth of information and put it into a 90-second scene.
And about
much,
30 characters.
Yeah. Best way to do it, though, cut what they don't need out. I liked how they played up Tyrion, knowing, who his father was, the sigil, all that. And he figured out the plan even of, oh, you're taking me to Daenerys? Oh, this is why, blah, 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 blah. A whole lot of exposition just to save a lot of viewers' time.
What I
So I
thought
appreciate
was, sorry, Benj. What I thought was really cool was how he goes through deducing who he is, this sigil, this whatever. Ah, you're Jorah Mormont. It's exactly what Pod does. I just like that it's not like, it's done in the same like systematic phrasing way. It's just neat because we've said so many times, this is what Pod has gained squiring from Tyrion. So that's pretty cool that it's literally like the same language they use. I like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Glenny.
Yeah, so this scene, like I guess it starts out with like Tyrion with a sock in his mouth, and he's like,
Untie me,
and then,
please.
yeah, and then finally like he takes the sock out, and they have like the little powwow, and then it seems like he's gonna untie his hands. And he kind of like calls him out for all this shit or whatever, and he figures everything out, and then he like just hits him with the board or whatever, and lays him out again. So
I'm going to say this in the most loving way. I am a mother of a child who, if he was in this situation, would be doing the same thing, that relentless until like you couldn't ignore it anymore. He's a Tyrion. And I'm cool with that.
I'm cool with that.
I'm good with that.
Gretchers?
I was just trying to figure out what he was singing. Because he was singing a song, right? And I was like, this has got to be a song we've heard before. That he wouldn't be singing something totally random.
Coconuts fiddling.
What is he, Zazu?
That one.
We hit our quota for Lion King
Yeah. Oh,
references.
damn it. We're like 5 minutes
a little
in.
early, but yeah, I thought it could potentially have been the Bear and the Maiden Fair just by the sound of it. But
By the muffled.
the muffle,
Yeah,
the
I could tell by the
of it.
muffleness that it was definitely the Bear and the Maiden
It was
Fair. You're
more-
right. Yeah.
You know, Glenn, I'm glad you agree with me because that makes me feel a lot better in general.
He can't agree unless he has an arrow pointing towards your comment.
That's true. You got to play the notes game.
That's right.
I thought it was pretty interesting how, he deduced the whole plan or whatever, and he's like, you think Daenerys is going to execute me and pardon you? The reverse is just as likely. Like, we'll see about this. She's probably not a big fan of you right now.
He's just
Right.
so spot on.
Yeah.
Like,
Was this where he thought that he's like, you're going the wrong way because the queen is that way,
Mhm.
thinking that he's taking him to Cersei,
Right.
but we find out no.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right, Glenn.
That is what happened.
Any final thoughts on these Tyrion Jorah scenes other than Gretchen's gripe that just not enough
Not enough.
Jorah?
I have a clarification. Because last episode I did mention that I didn't get to watch the last 7 minutes. Is it this episode that they talk about grayscale again?
They
somewhere
talked
in
about
here?
the last 7 minutes of last episode.
Yeah. Well, I finished watching
They talk about it
it
again in this episode.
Okay,
We'll
all
get
right,
there.
all right. Sorry, I wasn't sure if it was. Never mind. Go ahead. Keep going.
So let's
Sorry.
take our Jojen boat and go to a different part of the open sea.
Tug.
Tug McGraw. The narrow sea near Tarth/Dorne. We have Jaime and Bronn. They discuss Dornish tendencies and motivations for the trip. Gretchen, why don't you kick us off here?
This scene really just reminded me that this is mostly a show about people talking. Like this really, I haven't seen it in a couple months, and it was this scene where I was like, oh yeah, people love to talk to each other. So I didn't really, there wasn't anything really that stuck out to me about this one. I enjoyed it because I love Bronn and Jaime.
Glennie?
I really don't have anything right now. Sorry.
That's all right. Abby?
I believe this is where we're talking about fighting, then fucking, and fucking leads to fighting, and more
Mhm.
fighting leads to then. So I just want to know if there's a Bailey in the chat, and I'd just like to give her a shout out. And that's all.
Oh, for
That's my,
the podcast that fights and
I died laughing when I heard this because, sorry, promo now. We do have a podcast called Fights and F Words. You can get a sneak peek after
What's
this.
the F
But
word?
we couldn't
Which
say
F word is it, Ab?
it could be fornicate. It could be fluffy.
It could be fight again.
Yeah, fight more.
Fights and fights some more.
Harder.
and fences.
Feasts.
Yes. But it's just funny. They're, like Gretchen said, they're a good pairing together. Bronn's a good pairing with anybody, but Cersei
True.
with her.
Yeah, contractually not a good.
Yeah.
Wally Stokeworth.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like right at the end of that, I thought it was definitely pretty funny that, he's like, this sounds like a great trip. Like, it's all the, fighting and fucking leads to more fucking, and there's nothing like a Dornish girl to have after a fight. I don't think we're going to be staying around very long after you kidnap the princess. Benj?
So I like the line from Jaime when Bronn was like, "So you freed your brother? You care about him." And he goes, and Jaime comes with the line, "He killed my father. If I ever see him again, I'll cut him in two. Then I'll give him your regards." Everybody's determined to make Tyrion a quarter man at this point, because this is about the fourth time now we've had somebody say we're going to cut the half man in half.
Yeah.
Quarterman?
Quarterham.
The quarter man, yeah.
Quarterham.
Get
You're
the
a
quarterman.
quarterman.
Yeah.
I don't
It was
believe
just
Jamie
interesting to
here.
see Tyrion or Jamie being that mad at Tyrion now. Like to Cersei, he wasn't showing that much anger about it, but to Bronn,
I think he's just
either
trying to
putting
be
on a
tough,
front
though.
or-
Just be a
Yeah.
tough guy.
TUF tough.
TUF tough.
Tough.
Abby, I think I heard you say you don't believe Jamie here.
I mean, I think.
Do go on.
Oh, thank you. So, I believe that there's like some anger at the situation all around, and maybe processing through it is hard. But I don't think Jamie would, even like right now, being in his angered state, be like, "Oh, I would kill him," and mean it. I just think it's him being.
So he'd
EUF
kill him and
tough.
it'd be an accident.
Well, I mean, possibly. You never know. It is Game of Thrones. Stranger things have happened.
Well,
Stranger Things is a good
think
show.
of it this way: like, do you really think he's gonna admit, like, yeah, I was the jackass that let him go?
to
right. I don't
anybody.
I don't think.
Oh yeah, that was me.
I
You guys
mean-
were wondering. That was me.
Well, and we've seen like Bronn can be paid off. He's completely comfortable admitting that.
That is his
That's
MO.
Why? So yeah, let's not admit that.
Yeah. The opening of this scene leads off with, they're on a boat and looking over, and they see the Sapphire Isle,
Which
is Tarth, not Estermont. Jamie, he was like, "Is that Estermont?" I think he knew.
What
I think he knew it was
Isles?
Tarth. The Sapphire Isle.
Doesn't Estermont have a different meaning for him and Cersei?
That I don't.
that-
I don't remember.
That where her and Robert went on vacation, and I know this is a book thing, but her and Robert went on vacation to Estermont, and that's where Jamie and her conceived Joffrey.
They have a Six Flags.
Potentially, I thought that was in the Riverlands, though. I think that was
Six
I think that was
Flags
at
Island
Derry.
Getaway.
Six Flags.
I think that
Astronaut
was House
Island.
Derry.
Okay.
I'm not
thought it was
positive on that, but
I thought it was because Estermont sucked and Cersei hated it
Or
so
like
much.
a Disney World.
yeah, potentially you could be right. I cannot confirm.
Inclusive.
That's fair.
But I know what
All-inclusive.
story you're talking about. I just don't remember specifically where it happened.
Yeah.
But
This is not
anyway.
where Brienne is from.
that is
Yes.
where.
Okay,
Brienne
that's
is
okay.
from.
All right, that's what I thought, but
That's what I say. I think
of
he. I think
Tarth.
he
Yeah, okay.
knew
I
that
was-
was actually Tarth.
you made me more confused
Sorry.
talking through this.
I apologize.
It's okay. I was
That's
like,
where
oh,
Brienne is from.
that's, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I was wrong, but okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't.
So my point is, I think he knew. It was just like let's confirm.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on this little talkie? All right, then let's go to the next scenes with Bronn and Jamie. The duo arrive on the Dornish shores and are greeted by some riders. Jaime holds up to his count.
He said he could take one.
Oh,
if he
gotcha.
was slow.
Gotcha. There you go.
The Count.
Glenn, tell us about the count.
So yeah, Count Chocula joins the fight. No, it was funny to like basically Jamie with one hand, like he's just kind of making himself useless just to get out of like all the work. you
Yeah,
know?
he's like, oh man, we should bury the bodies.
Darn.
It's gonna take a long
Yeah,
time.
and like
I'm
even
not very good with a shovel.
rowing the boat, he like kind of is not doing anything, and Bronn's like,
It's just-
excuse me, like he's like, the
What do you want me-
hand.
What do you want me to do?
It's
Yeah.
just basically useless now.
Yeah.
Do any menial job.
Right, and like, do you think he would have, even if he had his hand? Do you think he would have been helping out?
I don't know. He's
Probably.
Jamie fucking Lannister.
I think if it's just the two of them, yes. If it's a group of 40, no, like not at all. If it's just him and Bronn, sure, why not? But they also wouldn't be in this situation if he had a hand. I think he'd be going by himself. Abby,
I thought his hand was impressive. We have found a use for it.
yeah,
I mean, that's pretty. I mean, it's like a worn shield. Just like, oh, you got my hand. Ooh, I don't know. Other than that, no, I like that Bronn's really excited about the horse afterwards. Like, we've just killed people, but I've got a horse.
yeah.
Like,
And Dornish steeds are worth having
and they are, because they'll ride a day and a night and never tire.
and never take a drink.
Dang,
Good horse.
good horse.
Gretchers?
That was my favorite part. Yeah, when he catches the sword with his hand and then he goes to try to get it off and he's like shaking his hand to try to remove the sword. It's hysterical. I like the little bits of comedy in this show. Tiny, tiny bits.
I like these guys' uniforms. Like they're
The yellow,
yeah, these diamond.
like all these robes and
Yeah, I mean, really, I guess it's just like the overcoat part.
Mm-hmm.
They
Bench?
could blend into the sand.
Yeah.
So I liked Braun's line here of I've had an exciting life. I want my death to be boring. I'm gonna be surrounded by sons with a woman by my side. Kind of reminds me of as good as dying of old age with a breast in each hand and drunk from wine. I think Braun's learning a bit from Tyrion there because they had the kind of the same conversation back in season 1 on
Mhm.
the of the moon or Mountain of the Vale.
Yeah, no, I thought a very, very similar thing, and I thought Jamie's answer to that was kind of funny too. He was like, as far as I've seen, they're all shit ways to die. And then he's like, how would you choose? And he's like, well, that sounds pretty boring. That exciting life. I want a boring death. Pretty solid. But yeah, I definitely like their costumes here. That dude looks fucking fierce and pretty intimidating. Like swords in the sand. No. Okay, all right.
Got me.
okay, there, Cheech.
But solid fight, you know. Braun takes down the horse, and he's like, that one will be slow enough for you. Any final thoughts on Jaime and Bronjamin? Nope. All right, then we are going to go to Nymeria, Obara, Tayin, and Olaria Sand.
Her name's Nymeria.
Mhm.
Okay.
Lady Nim.
She could
Okay.
fight.
Benj?
So, looking back, because I'm doing another rewatch with another show, and like just watching like first season, how you get these long introductions with characters. It's so odd that you get 3 introductions to these with introducing new characters, and they're so short. They each get like 2 lines, and that's it. It's very odd with this group here, and I just don't know how to take it.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, Glenn, you have thoughts on that or something else?
No, this is the same thing. Like a lot of characters, you get like a long drawn out thing, and then like, oh, this is make it so obvious that this is who that is, and then like this is just kind of like we're gonna like just give you like a little bit here.
Little bits.
But
Yeah, it really feels like one of those scenes that, like, when you read it in a book, it's awesome, right? It's almost like you translate too close at times, and that doesn't work well on screen. It's like if you really like played out everything you see in books at times, it's like, wow, that's clunky. If you actually saw people standing there, like telling you their whole backstory and like these
Yeah.
long, prosaic things, it's like no one does that. Tim over there be like,
I'm
Get
so-and-so,
over it
and
already,
I
or
do
like,
this.
to
you're
like
gonna
your
get cut off.
sisters,
You're gonna
like
get cut off.
they'd be like, "We've heard it before, Jesus. I know your skateboard or your scooter got stolen and you got jumped. I got it, bro." Not that you tell that story. I tell that story about you, but your
You
scooter,
lost
bro.
your scooter,
Yeah, but no, he didn't. He fought them jerks.
the razor scooter.
Boom.
Was it?
That's my
Man.
bro.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
I bounced.
Yeah. So did his friends.
They without me.
They
Yeah.
bounced before.
So
Yeah, Glenny, go.
Sure. That guy that I don't know if there's a screen thing. That's the captain, right?
Yes.
Or is that some
I
other
believe so.
schmuck?
I believe that's the captain that they were riding it on.
Can he be a bozo?
I think he could be a bozo.
I am confused. Who is this? The captain?
He's a bozo.
Oh, got it.
The bozo.
Cleared.
You're talking.
Beat
You're
it,
asking who
beat
is
it, bozo.
who is this bozo? This bozo we might see. In,
Oh, okay. All right.
Do you have a
he
caption?
brought them.
This is the
He's
bozo.
the one.
That's the bozo
He's
there.
the one that Braun was worried about first. Dornishman, he
Right.
kept him fine till he'll probably sell him out.
Spilling the beans, if you will.
Gotcha.
There's bozo who spilled the beans.
Bozo. The bozo that spilled beans.
Beans spilling bozo.
Bald as a fish.
Yeah, Gretchers.
Yeah, it's a weird introduction to these characters. I really hated that long speech, especially for what Abby was saying, because she's talking to people who know her very well. It just felt really
These
weird.
are your half sisters at least. Like,
Yeah, like
You're in a
they,
gang.
yeah, they understand. She's like, we fight. I chose to fight, and they're like, duh, we fight with you. Like,
We did the same thing. Like,
we also choose that. Yeah. So it just seemed like the whole scene wasn't very necessary, and as an introduction to those characters, it didn't really grab me. I like the one who was in that Marvel show, Iron Fist.
Yeah, I think that was
Nymeria,
Nymeria.
yeah.
Nim, yeah.
Her
right
She's
there.
the best one.
Yeah,
I
For
also
sure.
One in the
feel
middle.
like so. I'm just gonna go with what I think who these people are. We'll say they're
Yeah.
all what's his name's
Oberyn.
daughters.
Yes.
None of them are that chick's daughters, though, or is one.
One.
One is okay. All right.
The
Those
short
two.
haired.
Okay.
That's Tyene.
Tyene. Okay.
And that's Alaria's daughter.
That's
with
her
Oberyn.
baby.
I also feel like I mean a lot of things are very vague in the show and by design are like that, but this soap's kind of like
She says it when she walks up. It's
Yeah,
quick. I
yeah.
mean, it's one of those. If you're not looking
I'm
for
like,
it, you're
oh.
not going to notice it.
Yeah.
But they're the ones that hug, and she says,
Gotcha.
"Mama."
And she doesn't give a fuck about the other two.
She
Yeah.
doesn't until they get over here and she starts talking to him, and then she.
And
gives a
then
fuck.
she cares.
Band it together.
But I definitely, it's a little cheesy and a little clunky. But I did like
It
what
is clunky
what-
soup.
clunky suit with Michael Strahan, and I did like the boy or girl. We fight our battles, but the gods let us choose our weapons. And she says, and I chose mine, basically being the spear over tears. And I just thought that was an interesting thing, kind of showing
Yeah.
the.
The same thing happened to the Ninja Turtles.
You know, Glenn, I think you're exactly right. Please take it away. They all chose their weapons, right?
Yeah.
And then they
you
moved to
don't
Dorne.
you don't
the
choose your weapon.
sewers
The
in
weapon
Dorne.
chooses you.
Yeah, that's true, Mr. Ollivander. Any other thoughts on these sand snakes? No? Then we will.
We did see a snake earlier in the episode, and then these are sand snakes.
And that,
so,
that snake was in the sand. Can confirm.
Right.
Mm.
So that's not the first sand snake we see.
This is, the first group of sand snakes that we've seen this episode.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right. I'm glad we could clear that up. I was a little worried. I don't want two
I was
sets.
so confused.
I don't want two sets of sand snakes
Wait, sand snake?
roaming around.
We already saw that.
So we are gonna take the Jojen train up to King's Landing.
And that was an even shorter introduction for that one.
And we have Cersei, Mace, GMP, who is Grand Maester Pycelle, for those who don't know. Qyburn and MFT, who is Marin fucking Trent. Abby with the gasp. She'll hold it though.
Sorry, I was trying to write my thought down, and I was like, "Listen to Luke now. He's telling you where we're going. Shoot."
We're in King's Landing.
Okay.
And we have Mace is being dispatched to Bravos to treat with the Iron Bank.
Ooh, me? Fantastic. This is great.
I'll give your regards to the Titan of Bravos.
Yes.
Chucks. oh.
And what does he say? Something like I don't know if he calls him a king's guard. Oh, and escorted by a like.
A King's Guard,
Yeah,
and he's like, send my regards, and he gets cut off. She's like, just go.
Goodbye.
Please go.
I like.
Just get out.
I know he is supposed to be annoying and like.
I love him.
I love him. Like I just. To just have that type of happiness in your life, like to make the best of every situation and see that, man, like he probably is a happy guy, or like really not. Very not, but he's funny.
Ben?
So even his dad jokes are fucking pathetic. You know, he's
All
like,
dad jokes
well,
are pathetic.
no. Usually
you're
dad
getting
jokes can be good. But
Well,
Says the
you know,
dads.
like he comes up with well, we can give the Tyrells can fund the crown for a while, and they'll just have to pay us back, or I'll have words with my
I
daughter.
do declare.
Shut the fuck up. God, just such a pompous douche. That's all.
He
That's
means
all I
so
got.
But
well,
he's
though.
just trying to be friendly.
He's
like,
just a decent guy around
yes.
these vipers.
terrible people.
Fair. Okay, fine. A douche is the wrong word. Such a tool.
Doish.
Cool is the right word for it.
I think
Cool. I can see that.
I could go with
Squirrely.
oblivious.
How about squirrely?
Squirrely. Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Yeah,
Gretchen, what do you
squirrely
think
guy,
of
mumbles a
this
lot.
scene?
Oh.
I didn't even remember this character existed, so it was very funny seeing him on screen. No, my favorite moment is when Pycelle or whoever, Qyburn, someone says like, "Oh, the council grows smaller every day," and Cersei's like, "Not small enough."
Yeah.
That's the best part.
He's next on the chopping block, I guess.
Yep, get him out.
See ya.
Glenny?
Yeah, kind of along the same line. Like, I think Cersei's just kind of wanted to have her own powwow, I guess. Or actually, really get rid of Pycelle, I think, and then her and Qyburn kind of team up,
Kind of
get some shit done.
kind of just get rid of the monkeys and get down to business.
Monkey
To
business.
defeat the Huns.
Exactly. She's tired of the monkey business. I'm glad you picked that up. What'd you say, Gretch?
You
Sorry.
missed it.
I missed it.
Oh no, did we say the same thing, Abby?
No. It's just Luke's
Did we-
favorite movie.
Did we just become best friends?
To defeat
Wait,
the
oh,
Huns.
yeah.
That's why I was surprised you didn't hear it.
I missed it. All right. Did I miss anybody? Abby, do you have any thoughts on this that we haven't gotten to? Dire Pose doing God knows what.
He's wild.
All right. So let's
Right,
go
Gunner's being a
ahead
dummy.
and. What, Bench?
I said Drag Gunner's being a dummy right behind me here.
Yeah. Is he running into stuff?
Yeah.
There's Gumby.
We got Gumby over here.
I was
as
super
well.
excited to see him the other
I
night.
think we might need a Gumby appearance.
Gumby is on the fritz, so.
Seen better
That's
days.
true. So we then have Cersei, High Sparrow, the Faith Militant, Olivar, some whores, and Loras. Cersei arms the sparrows, who take to the streets, ridding it of debauchery and plucking a rose from the garden. Benj, kick us off here.
That's fine. Go after the pimps, go after the prostitutes, but leave the fucking beer alone, you goddamn monsters. It did nothing wrong.
I
Save the beers.
save the beers.
Should we cheers?
Cheers to save the beers.
Beers.
Clink.
Blink. Yeah, no, it's I mean that's just excessive, right? I mean, come on. Someone put a lot of hard work into that. The worst kind of people.
Yeah, those are well-crafted barrels, you know?
Yeah, a Cooper just
Yeah.
all that wasted
I
time.
mean, let's talk about the heroes though that dove underneath just to drink all of it. I mean, that's really where the
Barney,
story
they Barney
kind of.
gumbled it.
Sticking it in their pockets, saving it for later, drenching their clothes,
just
dragging it out over.
rigging it out later.
Yeah.
I could just
Take
see
your
like all
shoes
like
off.
the bums just going over and like, yeah.
I could see not bums doing that, like in our modern times. Get them down at a St. Patty's Day parade. It'd be head down,
Like an any day parade.
or any day.
all the drunks.
You drunks. Gretchen.
You drunk?
What? Uh-oh. Yes?
You got any thoughts on this scene here?
This part had the best music. The music was really good during this part.
Yeah, it was
I
kind
like
of
that.
a lot of heavy percussion.
Yeah.
Right? It was pretty supposed to be kind of intimidating and marching type deal.
It was.
Yeah.
I was scared.
Yeah,
I
so
loved it.
I agree. It was well crafted music for this scene.
Good. Thanks, Ramin, for your music.
Heck yeah. Emmy award winning, correct? Recently. Abby.
Probably.
So I believe there's there's a line in here, and I'm going to say it not exactly correct. I apologize. But the sparrow says something to the effect of God sees all sins, or not, what does he call him? Not God. Did he say God? I don't know. But all sins are seen the same in the eyes of the gods, or whatever. If this is true, why is any of this taking place? If your sins are just as bad, like, I don't understand why we're attacking sinners. Maybe it's a different type of sin. I don't know. It just seems a little
It's
bit
very
touchy.
crusady.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, only the gods can judge this, but here we are judging all of this
Well, so I think the idea is the people doing this have already atoned for the sins that they have committed in the past by sacrificing
But they're
all of
without
their worldly goods.
sin now.
In their foreheads.
Yes.
Well, they might not
in
be
their-
without sin, but they are working
towards.
towards a more sinless world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a Bible verse about
agree.
this. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't want to get like religious discussion into it, but I just thought it was really funny. Like, those are the words he chooses, that all sins are seen the same in the eyes of the gods. Well, bro, you just jaywalked across the street. Rip your clothes off and walk down. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Whatevs.
Abby Theological Hour coming up
Nope.
next.
No.
Glenn, you got any thoughts that we haven't touched on yet?
We do see Lord Duckling
Lord Duckling
and King Turtle.
and King Turtle, both in the same scene. Yeah, that's true.
No, I like how I think it was Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
Like they come storming in, and you can tell he wants to like say something or do something, but then he like sees what they're like doing, and he's like, "All right, I'm out of here." Like,
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah, they're going after that too. I'm gonna bounce.
Yeah.
They're gonna pull me into that. I guarantee
This
it.
is not gonna go good.
Actually, seeing the skin cutting on the forehead, that's a real ouchie, bro.
What do you
Like,
mean?
How
It
does
just
it all
looks
stay?
painful.
Looks like it would hurt.
It's not
Looks like it would hurt.
I don't understand how like he'd have to lay like this or that skin would fall out. It looks like.
I mean, we could try.
I'd rather not,
Okay.
but you know.
All right.
Do
Well, if you
it. Do it.
It's either that or shave your head. Those.
Two choices.
The
Which
options.
How
one?
about half my head?
And half the you have a 3.5
half brim.
pointed star carved into your head.
Well, half my head's already shaved, so I figured.
Well, there you go.
I could
that's,
just
that's fair.
you know trim it up.
Finish the
We'll
job.
be fine.
Take it down to a 0.
But yeah,
So
Laura.
that's the finished product there.
Yep,
that
and there,
screen-
there it is.
So that's what it would look like.
It looks good. You should do it.
No,
It's a real choice.
it's a
make.
real thing you can do now.
It's a statement.
Like-
You can pick like a different design, like maybe like a
is it
swastika or something.
16
Oh my
point
gosh.
star.
Like maybe like the Playboy bunny, you know, like all the girls from like the
Yeah.
2004, you know, like,
Yeah.
yeah, one of those.
Or the Chinese
Okay.
symbol for water.
Or maybe like
Which actually says probably like whore on it. Just kidding.
Silly.
or maybe get like your favorite car manufacturer hood ornament.
I wouldn't even know
First,
which one to pick. I like so many.
Yeah, all I heard on that one, Luke, was Hodor.
Hodor. Hodor. Cheers for
Cheers.
Hodor. I
Ornament.
haven't had a cheers for Hodor in a while. Yeah, have not seen Bran yet this season.
Which is really a shame.
I know. Is that our first Hodor for this season?
Yeah, it is.
Inadvertently?
Possibly.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Any final thoughts on this? Loris is a little surprised. He's like, "Who the hell do you think you are? Like, what the hell is going on here, bro?"
Well, and then this is actually a callback to last episode when Marjorie's like, you could use a little discretion. And Laura's like, everybody fucking knows what everybody's doing. Nobody cares what I'm doing. And, well, somebody did.
They did care.
Did anyone get the feeling whenever Cersei is talking to King Turtle, as he's well known as
KT.
KT,
Also known as.
and that when she said, "Would you be surprised if I told you there's a sinner in our midst, shrouded by gold and privilege?" Did anyone else think she was kind of talking about herself when you first saw it?
I was really wondering who she was talking about because it seems like there are so many.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could have been Marjorie. It could have been Laura. I mean, that wasn't my first.
Lord Duckling.
She is my first thought of those types of things.
I mean, just for how synonymous,
I don't know how to turn it off.
how synonymous House Lannister is with like being golden, and like just how often they're constantly attributed with the gold, all of that. So I was just like, huh, is she really outing herself right here? That's surprising.
Gold member.
Gretchen's internet has died. She will be back ASAP.
Look at that.
Gretchen, what do you think about this one?
Yeah.
All right, really letting the
She
team
has
down, Gretchen.
no thoughts.
Wow, great guess.
Gretchen?
She got me a point. She's awesome.
Wait, the internet died?
Oh,
Something did.
man. And R.I.P.
Rough.
So let's go ahead and roll on to the next set of scenes here in King's Landing, and it looks like Gretchen is back.
I'm back. I think I
Resurrected the internet.
accidentally turned my own internet off.
Oh man!
Damn.
I mean, we
So-
get it. You know, it's a real chore to be on here with
Oh
us.
god, I can't take this
That's
anymore.
on me.
Like, just end it.
So then we have a little bit of the falling out with Tommen, Marjorie, Cersei, a bunch of sparrows, and a bunch of gold cloaks. The queen confronts the king. The king confronts his mother. The king backs the fuck down to some sparrows, and the queen gives him the cold shoulder.
Is that a nursery rhyme?
It is, but it's pretty badly written.
That's beautiful.
It's a working. It's a working.
The queen
Nursery
confronts the
rhyme.
king. The king confronts his
Um,
mother. The king backs the fuck down.
The king backs the fuck down to some sparrows.
The queen confronts the king. The king confronts his mother.
The king backs the fuck down.
It's, I like it. I think it's really got some legs. We'll see where this one
It
goes.
was not so bad written there.
Oh, man.
Dick.
I have a little bit of tears.
I was going for like a Wizard of Oz.
I think you nailed it.
I feel like Mother Goose will be picking Glenn up.
Mother Glenn. But my thought here is good try, kiddo. Like Tommen, he's trying so hard.
I know.
Like, good work, kind of. Abby.
So this scene reminds me of my favorite guy, Tywin, at Joffrey's burial or body presentation when he's talking to Tommen about good kings, kind kings, stupid kings, vicious like what kind of king are you gonna be? Tywin had his faults, but Marjorie would not be doing this to Tommen if Tywin was there. I just don't think to this degree. I think you're gonna defend your wife to your mom, but as a man coming to a man being like, look, let's just checks and balances here, and I just think it would be a different situation.
Yeah, but if Tywin was still around, he wouldn't have armed the faith again.
Again, hello, stupid. I think Tywin said that too. She was dumb, or not as smart as she thinks she is. AKA,
Yeah.
she's not dumb. I know that, but yeah, whatevs. R.I.P. Tywin.
You miss him.
I mean, he deserved to die. Let's be honest. But yeah, I miss him.
For Tommen's sake, at
I
least.
miss the ruthlessness.
Yeah, and then we don't even see Kevin McLannister.
Yeah, Kevin McLannister is missing.
Yeah, I don't even get
He's probably at home.
Well, he
Yeah, he's
burnt the
probably
fuck
home
out
alone.
to Castle Rock. He was like, "Fuck you, I'm out."
Yeah, he's back home alone. That's
I
for
don't
sure.
take no shit.
He's got the wet bandits to deal with.
Yeah, he's got a lot on his plate with the wet bandits.
Some of it's pizza.
So, I'll give you to the town of.
Large
We've
cheese.
had
1,
Mulan,
2,
King,
10.
Lion King, Home Alone.
We're gonna do Home Alone
We're
every
good.
episode. We're
And
gonna have a
Lion King.
reference.
And Lion King,
basically
yeah.
every
Just one.
episode, too.
Mulan's in there a lot.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Okay, yeah. Gretchen, what'd you think of this series of scenes?
Poor Tommen. He's so dumb. He just is useless. The scene when he goes to talk to Cersei and he's like, Mom, get Loras out. And you can tell he's trying to be mad, but it's just so pathetic. Oh, he makes me sad.
Mom,
He's
you
so
did a
cute.
thing and I don't like it. I didn't do a thing.
Don't do it.
But
She's
you,
like, I
you-
didn't do it. He's like, well,
It did.
But
don't do it.
I just feel bad for him.
I know.
He is around these. They're grown adults who have been playing this game, have been trained to play this game, and I don't think that Cersei or Tywin or anybody necessarily groomed, well, any of the children to be good leaders, but probably not Tommen. You know, the older
No.
brother, he wasn't in line. That was her baby. He was babied, and he's sweet and he's kind, and it's part of who he just always was, but part of, his nurture too. So I feel bad for him. Poor baby.
Yeah.
Benj.
So I have a term. I don't know if anybody catches the reference. This is a total
Probably
Kobayashi
not.
Maru.
Kobayashi, the hot dog eater.
Yeah, he ate so many hot dogs that his mom said, "I didn't arrest the hot dog vendor." Well, you enacted the law against hot dog vendors, so the policeman did it, but you're responsible.
I'm trying to break the record, Mom. Like, you need
like 60, 70
We
plus hot
need
dogs in 13
more
minutes.
hot dogs
They don't sell
and,
them
and
anymore.
lemonade.
As much
So I
lemonade.
can dip the bun in the lemonade.
Benj, go ahead.
Yeah,
Tell us about
so-
Captain Kirk.
Yeah, Kobayashi Maroon is a Star Trek term for an unwinnable situation.
With a
There's
hot
no
dog.
way to get around it. No matter what you do, you're going to fail, and that's what Tommen's in right now. He's either going to fail in his mother's eyes, he's going to fail in his wife's eyes, or he's going to fail in the faith's eyes, and he has no fucking clue what he's supposed to do, and all he wants is just to get laid. That's it. He wants
I
to break
don't-
the record. That's
yeah.
it.
I don't
He
know.
wants
if
to break
that's
the record. I like
all-
how you said that because he's trying to eat every hot dog in the kingdom to break the record.
Kobayashi hot doggy.
I don't know if he's just trying to get laid. I think Tommen genuinely does want to be a good king.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
he's
the number one
trying
thing.
to navigate this
Yes.
without somebody who has his best interests at heart. Because Cersei has her own agenda. She's a good mom, but
She's not letting go of that power now that she's finally got a
Yeah,
chance at it.
and it's just a shame.
Well,
Shame.
Marjorie's manipulating him too, so
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
can't win.
No,
he can't get a break.
There's nobody there just to help him. Like,
Really, and I'm with you though. Tywin was the only one when he actually had the chance that started working with him to
Yeah.
start thinking like a good king.
and Tywin is always self-serving. He's always about doing what's best for the family and the family name. But that served Tommen better than
Everyone else self-serving
Marjorie's-
for only
yes,
themselves.
exactly.
That makes sense. Because Tywin's self-serving was for the good of the whole family.
Right.
And
And
Tommen
their
being a
seat
good
in-
king is really, really good for their whole family.
Putting a stronghold in there. Like, it's just
Glenn, you got any more hot dog references or
Well, kind of.
I mean kind of.
No, so like we see this when Marjorie first kind of comes sashaying in to Tommen. Like Tommen's just trying to eat his Taco Bell or whatever he's got that going
I'm
on
just
there.
got a Nachos Bel Grande. What are you coming with
Like,
this?
Whoa, whoa! My Crunchwrap Supreme. And it's just he's so vulnerable because he's hungry.
He's hungry.
He's hungry.
Oh, I see.
And it's just a terrible time to confront him on certain stuff. And there's a hot dog.
sorry.
But yeah, I mean he's hungry.
He's hungry.
He just wants to eat his Nachos Bel Grande and Crunchwrap Supreme combo.
Yeah, he got a deal on it. It's $5. You get that. You get cinnamon twists.
It's called the Westeros box.
The
at Taco
Westeros
Bell.
box. Can I get the Westeros box?
That sounds like something you get from Microfinger's brothel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that sounds like an
It's
ailment.
like-
You could
You're not
you could
living
order
away
it
from
at
that.
multiple places. Let
On-
me tell you.
Only in
Can I get the dude? We should go to Taco Bell maybe tonight or tomorrow and just order the Westeros box and just see what happens.
only at participating Taco Bells in the
'Cause
Riverlands.
they would have no idea what was going on.
Excuse me. Yeah, no, that's a really good point about the Westeros box.
The Westeros box.
But yeah, this is where we see the Faith militant kind of stepping up to the king and Kingsguard, and unnamed Kingsguard is like, you want us to just take him out? And he's like, what, kill him? Like, that's probably a bad idea. let's
That's
let's maybe not start with that. Let's regroup. And then he goes back to Marjorie, and she's going back home. He's gonna be sleeping on the couch for a while. That's what it sounds like.
with Taco Bell.
He's gonna be eating his Taco Bell home alone.
She ain't cooking shit for him.
He's gonna-
Has she ever cooked anything for him?
Probably not.
Has she ever cooked ever?
Maybe.
She's ordered Taco Bell before for him.
She's used the mobile app before.
Well, she drove him there since he doesn't have a license
That's
yet.
true.
Yeah, so
But she does put him on her lap to let him steer. And so he could order through the window. So,
She's so
I was
kind.
in a Jack in the Box
She's so
parking lot today, and no kidding, or not parking lot, drive through, no kidding, the person in front of me put their child through their car driver's side window and had him jump down and collect all the change, then pull them back in through their driver's side window. I was like, now that's good work. Like,
that wasn't the first time they've done this.
yeah, I mean, like, she knew what she was doing.
Oh, need you.
I was like, oh my,
to
that's
work.
awesome. And I was like, I always want to hand her this like dollar bill I have. And then I was like, probably handing a child money right now is a really bad idea. Like, don't you? Like, I'm not gonna. No, I'm good.
All right. Any other thoughts on Marjorie going back home?
You just need to be with your family.
There's no Taco Bells where she's going. Where we're going,
Well.
we don't need Taco Bells.
They have Del Taco.
They have Del Tacos.
God damn, I miss Del Taco.
And they were giving away free tacos on Taco Thursday.
Taco
Taco Thursday. Yeah.
National Taco Day was on a Thursday. What's wrong with people?
Everything.
That's just sacrilege in Taco World. We're going to Taco World.
Smack.
Do you want to taco about
Taco World.
All right, so I think we are finished with King's Landing, and we're going to do our in-show promo, and we'd like to point you to Microfinger's Flea Bottom Emporium on the podcastthat.com/support us. And I'm going to recommend you take a look at the Stick 'em with the Pointy End Arya Stark t-shirt. Get it for $15 and look like a million.
Ooh.
Man, I feel like $100.
Man, I feel like $30. I just put the link to the podcastthat.com/Microfinger's Flea Bottom Emporium in the chat. Check it out. Go through that link because Amazon is a bit finicky. If you don't actually click on it through our website, they'll just get rid of our whole Amazon account, which is ridiculous. But so go through our website. We'd appreciate it. A lot of cool stuff in there. But yeah, that's the one I'm gonna go with. I like that shirt. Looks good. We're gonna go to the wall then. Jojen Train, of course. And we see Stannis, Selyse, Mel, Shireen, and John. John trains some men. Selyse apologizes for giving only Shireen. Mel insists on coming south. Abby.
I don't have much to say on this whole Shireen thing is just really, I don't like it. It makes me sad for her. I think we all see what a wonderful, bright, charming young lady she is, and her mom has filled her head with just self-doubt. Or is this where she talks to her dad, or is that next?
That's a later scene.
Okay, so anyways, it's just I don't like the Shireen stuff. I love the Shireen stuff that
But you
she's
don't like
in.
the Shireen stuff.
I don't like when we're talking about Shireen. Makes me sad.
Yeah, don't talk about Shireen behind her back like that.
Yeah.
Make sure she's in the scene before you start talking shit about her.
I'd rather, what's her name? Selyse just not even be there, so. I'm going to
Agreed.
predict that Selyse is going to die, and hopefully it happens. Prediction number 4. Done.
Just got it?
Yeah.
Hopefully it happens.
All right. Gretchen. You're a big Selyse fan, I think.
Oh, I love her. I think she's just the kindest. No, she sucks. So this scene sucks. She's an idiot. And that's all I have to say.
Feliz Navidad.
Yes, exactly.
Glennie?
I like how John is a lead by example type of Lord Commander, I guess. You'd see a lot of people that they would get this, title and then just well, I got my title, everyone else can do all the work. But he's more of a proactive, hands-on type of leader and not going to just sit down and do nothing. He's going to, make sure everyone has what they need, does what they're supposed to do and stuff like that, and not just sitting back and letting other people do the dirty work. He's getting his hands dirty and doing it himself.
Yeah, he definitely seems to lead by example, which is a pretty effective way of doing it. The guys seem to be enjoying, or at least
rallying
behind his cause, and it's good to see because it was a pretty split vote as we saw, and it seems like he's kind of gained the respect of more people, and including old buddy
Malister Perot.
Malister Perot. Yeah, that's who I was talking about. That's
Who are you talking about?
Thorne, Alistair Thorne, basically making him his first ranger, and that's kind of a good way to get some of those swing votes kind of back on your side a bit. So kind of showing respect for the other main candidate at the time. Ben.
So Solis really is the worst. I'm sorry, my king. I've only brought you a disfigured girl. Like, fuck off, bitch. Shireen's a motherfucking princess. In more than one word, more than one sense of the word. It's just, can't stand her, and just all the, poor, oh, woe is me, I'm no good for the king. No, you're not good for the king. You're not a good choice for the king, but you're the one he has, and you know what? Suck it up, Buttercup.
You're in for the ride.
Yeah.
Stay for the long haul.
Yeah, so we also have Stannis kind of chit-chatting with Mel. Abby's facial expressions when she's thinking of things while we're recording.
Oh, mind blown. Hold on. No, you're good. Keep going.
All right, so hopefully she'll get her shit together over there. But we have Mel, who is talking to Stannis, and she says, "Once you put your faith in Sir Davos and left me behind," or Behing, as my typo says, "I hope you won't make that mistake again." And he just says, "I won't." So they're planning on riding south, and I don't know. Do you think it's going to make much of a difference for Stannis, Mel being involved? That's a question for Abby more than anything.
Right now, so a long time ago I said I was fearful for, what's her name? Girl we're just talking about. Shireen. I am more fearful right now. He's not going to leave Mel behind. I don't know. I don't know about her. I'm still so on the fence.
About Mel or Shireen?
Shireen is in danger. Mel, I'm on the fence about what the fuck she is. She's a little bit hinky.
Okay. All right. Hinky punk. Fine.
Yeah.
Hanky's bar.
Hinky's bar. Gretchen?
Are we on a new scene?
No. I think your note here maybe goes with the next scene. Is that...
It does,
Okay.
yeah. I already talked about this one. I said that I hated Sleaze.
Okay. Gotcha.
Still hates.
And that's
Sleaze.
where I stand.
And I'm going to fight you on it, but we'll do it another time.
No matter how many Facebook posts you make about it, you're not changing her mind. She hates Solis.
This is my new platform. Convince Gretchen that Solis is...
Okay.
Not the worst.
Okay at best.
She's
really good at praying to babies in a jar.
So
Can we all agree
weird.
on that?
Yeah, that's a really odd scene.
That's a strength right there.
But then we do have John, Sam, and Mel, as long as I didn't miss anybody on that last scene. I think we got them all. And John signs some requests for men. Mel asks him to go down south. Ooh. Glennie, kick us off.
Yeah, so this is like what I believe is like just a regular run of the mill kind of job, I guess, or just, to get men. This is what you do, right? You send the letters out. But John, I guess, once it comes to like Roose Bolton, he kind of hesitates, and Sam's like, "No, like we have to send it everywhere or whatever. Like we have to cast a big net. That's how we get men.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't matter. Like, and that's been like the tightrope that John has walked on the whole time is like your old family or whatever, or your new family with the Night's Watch. And we've seen like recently he's chosen his new family. So really like everything else like shouldn't matter according to like the Night's Watch, the way it's set up.
Right, yeah, once you go there, it shouldn't matter that they're coming from
That they killed your family and stuff like that.
yeah. I mean, as long as they kind of uphold the ideals and kind of
No
get
big
in
deal.
step.
But
you
like,
know?
I guess my point was, this is like a regular job that you do as the Lord Commander.
Well, yes, but they also don't have Yorn anymore to go from castle to castle collecting men. So before they did,
They haven't replaced him.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
they need to fill that position pretty quick.
They're hiring.
Positions are open. If you're interested, send a raven to
They got to build.
at
They
the
got
wall.
They got bigger fish to fry because they got to build a latrine. And I think Brian's doing that.
Brian the ginger. It's a
The
perfect job for a
ginge.
ginger. Sorry, Gretchen. That was just a line from last episode.
Rude.
So rude.
So rude.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, my note kind of goes along with Glenn's here. You know, asking Bolton for dem men to come to the wall, and John kind of balks at that. He's like, no, not him. And Sam's like, dude, you gotta kind of get over it, and we gotta do this. You can't say, hey, Warden of the North, I'm not gonna ask you for men. That's kind of irresponsible from the Lord Commander's seat to neglect. Gretchen, here's your time to shine with this. I love your note here. That's why I wanted to.
Oh, thanks. This is a great scene because I just love a good paperwork scene. I love seeing John push them papers. I liked seeing Bronn and Jamie just talking. I like seeing Cersei be worried about money. You know, I like those little boring moments. So
I mean, I'm with you on that one.
I
I don't know if you're being facetious. I actually do enjoy the boring talking
I'm
stuff.
being half facetious because I think it's funny, but then I also love it because it's people think of this show as like huge action and drama, which it is, but there's also so many moments of just like, hey, we gotta send letters to get more men, and it's like the realism of it, of the high fantasy, I think is fantastic.
As my friend Karen would say, too much talky, more dragons, more tits.
Dragon-
talkie.
Dragon
episode.
tits.
More dragon tits.
More dragon tits.
Dragon tits.
You know, we all have our fetishes. There's Glenn.
Good to know.
That was very big of you to say on screen. Abby, you got any thoughts here?
Nope. Think about dragon tits. That's
Dragon
it.
tits on the mat. All right,
all
that whole
day.
side of the table.
All day I think about dragon tits.
It's like the new Adidas.
the new Adidas. Ben, you got anything on this?
John and those
Trendy.
goddamn redheads. That's really, because he said he almost had Roz. Then he had, Egret, and now fucking Mel's throwing herself at him. He's just catching that fire.
That was a good thing. Like, she says exactly what Egret would say in this
Yeah.
situation. You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah, that was
Like, was that not creepy, or was that just a coincidence, you
super
think? or-
creepy. Super creepy. This is why Mel. I don't know. Something's up. I mean, she's birthed a shadow baby from her vagina. Number one, it is
Can
not.
confirm.
Yes, so can Davos. Like, it is not a normal thing.
He needs to get checked out, you're saying?
I
or-
mean,
Well, Luke, are we sure she didn't Pennywise it?
I mean,
Saying.
I don't know.
This
I don't
is
think we can
true.
confirm that.
It was a healthy shadow baby, though.
It grew
That's all that
very
matters.
strong, very quickly.
You're right. I don't know. I just have a hard time believing what
Think about the
she's,
kids, though.
putting out there on the table. She just,
Ugh. Gross.
good for John. I liked that John almost didn't do this he wasn't like the Ned Stark where it's like, oh, this would be wrong, or I shouldn't do this, but I'm like, he just is heartbroken and just doesn't want to. Kind of cute. Aw.
Yeah, like, what was that? Was it season 2 where I think Gendry just kind of loses his mind over, like, Melisandre when she comes in?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Nara's like, what are you guys doing? And he's like, she's fucking hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then later on, and he's like, I was just kind of minding my business, and then that comes at me.
What are you supposed to do?
he can't blame me here. John's
What, did she
kind of got that
Did she
face.
fall over multiple times on your penis? Yeah.
I have a very similar feeling to Gendry's feeling on John's face right here. This is when he's actually
Oh boy.
being forced to check her pulse.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But it's Boy Meets World. That's
you
exactly
know
where it
that
is. When Corey kisses somebody and Topanga's like, "What? Did you
Yeah,
slip on
that's-
a rug and your lips broke
Oh,
her
it
fall?"
was an accident.
Yeah. I was like, "Where's that from?" Like totally Boy Meets World.
Reg.
I think that's where the line
Faffy.
I was thinking of from Ab, but I just kind of
Yeah.
made it dirtier.
Yeah, it's all right. That's what reminded me of whatever that show's called.
And
Boy
that's
Meets
what I
World.
appreciate about you.
That's what you appreciate.
But yeah, no, Gertz, you had a note on that too, unless you didn't want to go into that.
No, I just think it's disgusting. And she's like, "Do you feel my heart?" And he's not touching anywhere near her heart.
Feel your
There's
tits.
plenty of blood in there,
Yeah.
right?
He's like,
some
"Oh,
are- it's
yeah.
refractory
Closer to
effect.
the
I
heart.
mean,
yeah, I feel it. Yeah."
You could probably
No, sure.
The
Yeah,
neck.
I mean,
honestly, like down by the
Casually.
crotch would be more likely to actually get a good read than than the boob. But hey, whatevs. You do you.
Like a doctor that's just feeling every
Yeah.
part of your body. And
those are the doctors that need to get get the cops called on them.
So okay,
Because
so
I'm
I
tired
guess-
of it.
Hey,
trying to bring this back. to
doctor, I got a hurt
serious.
elbow. Yeah, okay.
just had a
Turn your
thought.
head and cough.
All right, Benj, what's your thought?
Sorry, so just had a thought. Does anybody think that Mel was possibly trying to get Stark blood or Stark semen to create a unofficial Stark bastard that Stannis could use as be naming them? I just kind of thought of that because this is a
Trying to get
newer
the
scene.
semen, blood. and
Yeah.
Wait,
semen,
but related
not mixed
question.
together.
Can she have human babies or only shadow babies? Because we have no proof that she can actually conceive a human baby.
This
If
is
she
true.
had a human baby, would it even have a shadow?
It would
Or
be
would it be Peter Pan?
It was Peter Pan, yeah. He'd have to catch his own shadow.
See,
He
and
did
it's
have
still,
a shadow though.
It's,
You'd have,
it's
like,
still down to the
it'd be like
Stormlands where it
twins
killed
where-
Renly.
It'd be twins where one of them's the human,
Holy
one's the
shit.
shadow, and
What
they
if
have
the
to find each
baby
other.
really was there and that's still walking around?
It'd be like the Parent Trap, but with
but we've never found a shadow.
a kid in the shadow.
This is craziness.
A lot of good thoughts.
A lot of good thoughts, folks. Nice
Mm-mm.
work on this scene.
I don't like this at all. This is like too many things can happen from here. I don't like it at
You
all.
don't, you don't like it? What does that mean?
It just kind of blows things up. Like she wants.
Blows things up. What does that mean?
Okay, so, well that wouldn't be you would ignite a switch, but whatever. Luke can explain to you. He's an engineer.
Explosions. Yeah, we need more explosions.
So I just
Yeah.
feel like she's going after John because John's special and it has nothing
John's
to.
special. What does that mean?
I mean that he's special. So, but why? She went after Gendry because she knew his true parentage. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'll find out someday.
She'll find out someday.
It's fine.
All right, so let's go ahead and finish up the wall scenes, and we have Stannis and Shireen. Bamson, there it is. The story of her grayscale and his Father of the Year award are about to be dispensed. Benj, kick us off here.
So I absolutely love this scene. All the shit they did wrong with Stannis that people have bitched about, not my Stannis, blah blah blah. This was done right. Him showing that he cares about his daughter as much as he did. He brought in every maester, every witch doctor he could find to get her cured, because he feels it was his fault for giving her the toy from the Dornish salesman that had the grayscale on it. And
Yep,
so
what a-
he
what a
did everything he
prick.
could to save her. And now,
This is
Gretchen, I'm going to disagree with you. This is the best music of the episode because Shireen gets her own goddamn theme song. I know. Oh.
I know.
So, but I do, yeah. I just, when you made that point earlier, I'm like, I respectfully disagree. Just because
This is good too. You're right.
All right, Gretchen, take it away here.
I just love Shireen. I love where she goes, I know mom didn't want me to come here. And he's like, why do you say that? And she goes, she told me she didn't want me to come here. I think she's hysterical. And that's a great scene.
Yeah.
It's just so sweet. I think this is the only time really where I'm like, oh, Stannis, you're a good guy. You're a nice guy. Every other scene, I hate when he talks to his wife. I hate when he talks to Mel. I hate when he talks to anybody else, but I love how he interacts with Shireen.
Him and Davos are usually pretty good.
Oh, well,
A good
anything with
1-2
Davos
punch.
is great.
Yeah, well, Davos brings out almost this kind of Stannis like Shireen
Yeah.
does. It's kind of the more wholesome-ish, like actual human side to
Wholesome
him.
Johnson.
Wholesome Johnson. Thanks, Orson Johnson. And you know, he was basically like, I told them all to go to hell. I called in every maester this side of the world, every healer, every apothecary, and it's just like, good on you, man. Like you're my fucking daughter, goddammit. Like it's pretty good scene.
I agree. It's a good scene. It's a good speech, but I have issues with Stannis.
Abby's pulling back her vote for Father of the Year. Sounds like.
Well, you're a father whether you're there or not. When you're gone, you're still a father. And you subjected this girl for years to a mother that you know exactly how she treated her. And you want to play the I pulled every single doctor and whatever I could, and
Right.
I saved you, and I loved you. I've loved you so much that I left you to be tormented by a horrible person that wishes you were not here and makes you feel less than.
Right. I feel like Stannis was one of those fathers who would just kind of leave Shireen alone, go out and then buy a bunch of scratch-off tickets. And
Shut up, Glenn. I'm not winning over here. You're going to make me pissed off.
I didn't even know what you were doing.
Scratchers.
just buy a bunch of scratchers and scratch
I
them
get
off.
fidgety.
and not
At
even
least
care.
I can do something.
At least I can potentially make money.
Yeah, I can just lose it all.
So
Oh.
going to your point, Ab, really quick. This is why I think the leaving out of Patchface, who is a character you don't know about,
Yeah.
but it's not a spoiler. It was basically her friend. He was Stannis's fool, but it
wasn't her
Shireen's-
dad who should have
No,
taken
but-
her away.
taking her to war,
He
taking her
knows,
to
he
King's
knows.
Landing, or
Taking her to any babysitter he could afford and
And that-
pay for her to be
That's what Patchface is. He's
away,
a good
not
person
in
to
a-
her.
cell in the bottom of.
But this is
That's- That's
it's
what I'm saying.
the show
is-
fucked up.
Yeah.
a lot
Okay.
of this.
Good.
And that
Good.
Damn it, show.
Okay. All right.
is
Yeah,
kind of
and-
where it's at.
This is the
That's where-
hashtag not my Stannis. I'm totally on board with that hashtag, and
Scratch off.
I've never read the book.
Scratch off
So,
Stannis.
Scratch off
Yeah.
Stannis.
But that's what I'm saying is,
Damn
you
it,
know,
Stannis. Made me lose my
that's where they
scratchers.
missed it without having Patchface. The biggest thing is just giving her a friend, besides Davos.
Apache face.
I got a ticket.
There you go.
Boom.
She
All
won
right.
a ticket, folks.
She got a
I
ticket.
got the golden ticket.
That'd be a ticket. All right. If we are done at the wall,
Done.
we will take a Jojen train just slightly south to Winterfell, where we have Sansa, and this says LF. I have no idea who that is, so
Laugh.
it's probably Microfinger is who I'm thinking. It's got to be a
Oh.
typo.
Yeah.
Light finger.
Sansa lights a candle. We learn a bit about her aunt and a few different options for the North.
Her digs are still there.
Glenn, tell us about her digs.
Yeah, she's got new digs. We found out from last
It's
episode.
firmly established.
So, at this point, all we know is that she still has the same digs. Digs.
And apparently she's going to be
unchanged.
staying in these digs while Microfinger leaves
Leaves.
the digs.
Leaves the digs. She's staying in her digs. Microfinger's leaving the digs.
Okay.
Still looking digs.
Still looking digs. Still looking digs. Abby, thoughts on the digs or anything else in the scene?
No. I mean,
You have nothing to say about the digs.
the digs, the new old Back to the Future, got it. You know, I mean, just a bad situation. I don't know where it's going. It makes me really nervous for her. And Microfinger, he's just such an ass. Like, you can't trust him. Oh, and he's going to King's Landing, right? Like, okay, great. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember, last episode was when we had Roos.
Yes,
and
with
he
the
knew what the
letter.
letter was, and so Roos probably knows that Microfinger's leaving, right?
Right.
Because he said, "I will also read it before we send it out
Right.
again." So, where do you think that leaves Microfinger's actual loyalties?
Who fucking knows? I've never been right, so I don't know. I have stopped predicting things when it comes to him because being unpredictable is a good thing. I think Microfinger's loyalties lie with who is on top at the moment, who has the better hand. And I think it'll change over and over again. And he will just keep in that middle common ground, like just worming his way until somebody finally becomes a ruler. And he's be like, look, I've been here the whole time, and these are the things I can prove that I was on your side. He's just a manipulator. I hope he dies too.
Gretchen.
I really like this scene because I like hearing about his backstory. I always like when he kind of shares growing up. So I found that really interesting. But Sansa really needs to like get it together. He's like, I'm leaving. And she's like, what? You can't leave. Like, Sansa, why do you trust him so much? I don't get it. And then he kissed her, and then I turned the TV off. I quit the episode.
All right, well, that was Gretchen
I
Roesch.
quit.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm out. Bye. Because that was gross.
Yeah, pretty gross. Benj.
So
Speaking of pretty gross, Benj.
To the old man on the panel. So the first time, or sorry, nope, wrong note. Would Stannis really make her Wardeness of the North? I highly doubt it. He's already told Jon that he would find, or I know that's a book thing, but more likely he would just marry her off to some other lord and make him Warden of the North and just have her be the wife. He would not say, okay, you're Wardeness of the
Stannis?
North.
You give her better digs, maybe.
But
You're saying Stannis wouldn't let her be warden?
Stannis would not name Sansa Wardeness of the North. There's no chance in hell it would happen.
Honestly, I don't know Stannis well enough to know what he would do.
Yeah, but I don't think
I do.
Sansa knows that.
I think Davos would name her Warden of the North. Wardeness.
Davos would, but Stannis wouldn't. He would marry her to somebody and name them under the under the marriage.
Gotcha.
But so for Littlefinger to use that and for Sansa to be dumb enough to believe him, don't buy it.
I mean, just to get up there and take some revenge, I think would be good enough. I don't care who rules this place. Just get these assholes out.
Right. And I think we've talked last episode where we don't really like where this is like going, like, oh, the people that murdered your family, like, oh, you're going to marry one of them.
Let's break some bread.
And then she
get
just like
next
agrees
each
to
other.
it eventually. Like, he gave her like the out too. Like, if you don't want to do it, we don't have to do it.
Guilt trip.
I just would have figured that, no, I don't want to do it. Let's get the fuck out of here.
I mean, did he give her
But
a
then she goes
dagger?
along with it.
Did he give her a dagger?
Anything? Some sword lessons?
He offered her new digs.
digs.
The digs were established.
Which
Gotcha.
That's what
now
we
I'm gonna retract my statement I just made. I think it was a good decision by Sansa to go back to Winterfell because of the digs.
It's all about the digs.
All about the digs here. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on.
She's got good digs.
Make sure digs come first. Make
You
sure you
know.
got good digs, and then
You had to
go
have the
from
dig
there.
dugs.
I was
Dug.
about to make a dig dug joke too.
That's a good game.
It's a solid game. You should play it on the podcast that Rolls plays the games. Do a little dig dug.
Little dig dug
You need to get
action.
a one MS DOS computer to get it done right.
They have
Yeah,
one.
that's
I
there's
do
some.
know what this is.
There's some arcade games. Like if you go to like a bar, they have like the, I don't know, 30 or something game. You can play like Frogger. I think they have a BJ's bar. You know where that is?
I do.
But they have Dig Dug as well. So
There you go. Yeah,
I'm going there.
All right, well, see you, Glenn.
Nice.
Kind of along the similar lines of Gretchen's note of getting Microfinger's backstory. I loved hearing more and more about the tourney at Harrenhal. I'm history nerd. I just always love the backstory of a lot. If you don't know who some of these characters are, you're gonna miss a lot of stuff. But we've heard this story several times, and I think Abby would know all the characters if you actually sat and listened, like and listed them all out. You'd be like, okay, I know who pretty much everyone here is. But it's just always kind of cool getting different people's perspectives and reactions to certain things that are said around it, and big fan of how that was played out in this scene. Anything else? The blank faces, which means it's time for our final scene. Final scene. Cheers for the chat. Cheers for Ben and Gretch. All right. So, final scene in Marine. Danny, Barristan, Dari 2.0, Histar, Zokravitz, Grey Worm, Unsullied, and Sons de la Harpy. The Bold One tells stories of Rhaegar singing. Hisdar begs for the pits to be opened again. The Sons go on a rampage, and many are left fallen. I really love getting Grandpa Barry story time here. Like, just it's good for Danny to kind of hear, your brother Rhaegar wasn't like your brother Viserys. Like, he wasn't a raving douche. I don't know, just me. I thought
The apple falls far from the tree.
This is a different kind of tree, different kind of apple. I think Danny needs that, and that's why I really love Barristan in this role. Yeah, I think she needed that because she's in a tough spot.
Sorry.
Gretchen, what do you think about this series of scenes?
So I love Hisdar. I don't know if it's because he's so handsome, but I also think that Danny's making some big mistakes here, and I think he would be a great person to have on her side, but she does not listen to a single thing he says. So for me, this is kind of the beginning of, like, obviously as we see in the final scene, stuff starting to not go her way, and she really needs to be figuring out what to do to maintain power here, and she's not listening to people who can help her.
Yeah, he definitely seems to kind of understand where they're at. I mean, he's from there, and it's a pretty valuable tool that, like you're saying, she's just choosing to not really even listen to. Because she's even like, man, I really don't want to go listen to him talk about the goddamn fucking fighting pits again. God damn it!
We've already done this.
I'm going to,
Right.
but Glenn.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this. Like, it's hard to go to a different culture and try to change it.
Mm-hmm.
And like Danny's trying to do that, but then like these other people are like, no, like this is the way of life here, and like this is what we do, and it's just been a big struggle moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Benj.
So this is the first time. Yeah, this is the first time we actually get to see Barristan fight. We've heard for 5.5 seasons of his prowess and his skill on the battlefield, and he really is one badass motherfucker. He walked into a scene where almost all the Unsullied are already killed, and he wipes out a good 7 or 8
Harpy.
Sons of the Harpy on his own. So
Purpose.
the tales were true.
People playing the harp.
But this is also why I feel that Danny is in the wrong for some of the choices she's made. She put the Unsullied as the police of the city when it really should have been the Second Sons. As we saw last episode, Dario showing Grey Worm how to hunt for guys because Unsullied aren't fearful or anything like that. The Unsullied are meant for open warfare, open battle, on the field battle. The Second Sons are the ones for urban patrol, urban battle. You put a group of Unsullied, 4 Unsullied, or however many, 5 or 6 Unsullied in a tight little confined space, there's no chance for them. So I think, and she couldn't have seen that coming. Nobody would have known that. Nobody's told that, but just it's hindsight. But honestly, should have had the Second Sons who are more adept to city fighting than the Unsullied are.
Yeah, but like maybe they are also doing that. Maybe there are other groups of Second Sons out there doing the same thing. The Unsullied are going to work better with other Unsullied. Maybe it should be a mixed group a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, how big is Marine? Like pretty big, right?
Pretty big.
Pretty big. Yeah, I don't know. Like it just seemed like
Kinda big.
this fight goes underway, and like the only one that gets wind of it is, I guess, Barristan.
It's the
Well, he
bells.
hunted down. He sniffed it out.
Barristan because of the bells. Taco Bell.
Back to the bell.
Always back to the bell.
So, Abby, I have a predict. Or did you already go with your note?
No, the only thing I have on this is it's a little before your pictures that you're on now. As the Sons of the Harpy, the Unsullied are like kind of walking in. We see this lady who's like, "Oh, this way," and she's like crying. Yep, that one. And then she's like, just wipes that tear away. My note for that is, that bitch. Like,
Well,
Do you recognize her?
What a
I was gonna
bitch.
say, do you recognize her?
Same one that let the
White
was
rat-
cuddling
white rat.
with White Rat
Oh,
oh.
a couple episodes
Yeah,
ago.
I mean, that makes sense. I didn't really pay attention to her. I mean, I didn't even know who Roz was for, the entire time she was
Part-
alive.
You're
Par-
not very good with keeping up with the whores.
par for the course for that.
No.
Biatch.
No. And then my next note, like after this happens, I'm like, oh no, not the bold. I just knew it. You saw us like fit, and I was like, man, he's going down. It's sad.
Well, the moment that Danny's like, you know what? Yeah, go walk the streets. Like, go have, take a day off, basically.
Go sing a song for
Go
me.
sing a song for me. Probably not the best place for him to be going.
Streets where everybody's mad. Let's send him out.
A game of consolidation. Hey, let's go ahead.
Yeah, but we talked about this earlier. Like, how do you want to go out? Like, what I think Jamie and Braun are discussing. What's the best way to die? I think someone like Barristan, this would be right up, going down swinging. I guess.
Yeah,
If you will.
absolutely.
He even
Now,
says
here's the
that
question
when
I had.
Sorry, go ahead, Bench.
Well, that's all right. I was gonna say, is Barristan or Grey Worm or any of them dead?
We don't know because the one guy was about to kind of slit his throat, and then he got kind of headed off at the pass, if you will.
And then they cuddled.
Yeah.
Maybe there's cuddling.
I think Barristan's dead. I think Grey Worm, just because like he gave that like almost like a sympathetic look. I don't know. Who knows? They both could be dead. They all could be dead. Maybe they're coming for Danny next.
Everybody died.
They all died. The end.
Everybody but you knows.
Everybody but me. That's kind of how I live my life.
Everybody in the
actually.
story dies, and
Everybody.
here's Mitch. Mitch,
Hey,
Mitch
take it
wins
away.
the Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Good job, Mitch.
Oh, there's Morty. Morty comes out of nowhere. Rick Sanchez and Morty.
Hi guys. Danny. Oh.
Oh man. All right. Any other thoughts on pretty good fight scene though? Yeah.
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 Yes, please agree with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that pretty much does it for the main episode. Episode title was Sons of the Harpy. Pretty accurate, I'd say so, for the final scene
At
here.
least it was like a big scene. I get it was just one thing, but
Again, just one scene
One-
in the name, right?
but it's epic.
Any other thoughts on episode title?
That's fine.
Yeah. They're in it.
There they are.
There they are.
Those dicks.
Assholes.
Description accuracy. The faith militant grow increasingly aggressive. Check.
Yes.
Checkman.
Jaime and Bron head south.
T.
Check.
Yeah.
Ilaria and the Sand Snakes vow vengeance. True for the most part. The Sand Snake that Bron killed did not vow anything.
Yeah,
that motherfucker got eaten.
Right.
He
yeah.
got et.
Well, he was trying to vow, but then he got.
Hey, I have something to say.
hey!
He was trying to proclaim his vow to Jamie, and Bron's like, no vows.
Take. So
All right,
I
so
wanna hear
okay, check. I'll give that a check.
he was trying,
He sure did try.
attempted.
All right, so let's get to our least favorite things. Gretchen, I want to start with you. What was your least favorite thing this episode?
Pretty much anytime two characters got way too close to each other. So I did not like I did not like Baelish kissing Sansa. I did not like Mel trying to seduce John. Both scenes made me very uncomfortable. I want some consensual action up in here. Not that. It's gross.
Fair. Ab.
I'm gonna go just with my feelings on Doreen's parentage. I keep getting like it's not how it is in the book, so I'm really hoping once I get through the books that I really do feel differently. I'll keep an open mind, but it's just so unfortunate because I do think she's just such a lovely little girl. Like, she's awesome. She's half mermaid. It's awesome.
Got scales.
I mean, she's great.
Girls got scales.
She got scales.
Benj, what was your least favorite thing?
The introduction of the sand snakes, I just don't like how they consolidated down so much information and didn't give us any real reason to connect with them. Like when we first met their dad, we got this nice opening long scene and it was great. You got to know who this guy is. I have no fucking clue who these I couldn't even tell you which one is Nim, Tyene, or Obara. I mean, if you put them all in front of me, I might get a lucky guess on 60% of it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get
Tyene is
60%.
60%, I'd get 100% of the time.
That'll be the question next week.
60% of the time, I'd get it
who were
100%
the
of
sand
the
snakes?
time. Or 100%. Yeah. See, I got the math. But
I got the math.
Kinda.
Ish.
They are all numbers. I'll give you credit for that. They were all numbers.
yeah, no, but it's one of those like if you put them all in front of me. It's so I don't, so that's it. It's just it's a weak introduction for those characters.
Fair. Funny.
Me? My least favorite thing is it seems like I don't know, it's either like they have like a couple scenes that it's just like real quick, like especially the sand snakes, like a short introduction and then that's all for the episode. It's like the same with I think Tyrion and Jorah. Like it's just like one little scene, and it just seems like sometimes they do like a, all right, well we need to go here. Oh, well here's a 30-second scene. Okay, check, we got that. All right, let's not even talk about them the rest of the episode. Let's go to the the bigger stories.
Check back in with them 2 episodes
Right.
from now.
I don't know what's worse, like that or just like, because I know like it seems like we would bitch about them not even being in the episode at all. I guess
That's better.
yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You call it out, Luke. Sorry.
We have a special guest joining us in the chat.
Yeah.
At Amy Hogan is in the chat.
Go home, Mom.
Be on your best behavior.
Oh man. Just kidding.
Anyways,
Mom.
I don't know what's worse. Just not even having anything or just having a 30-second splurge.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. And we've seen that kind of on and off here and there throughout a lot of these seasons, especially like not so much in season 1. I didn't get that much, but 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I think we had that kind of start up where it's just kind of like, hey, we have to check in with these people minimum. Haven't seen them.
Yeah.
So let's just like, hey, get their faces on the screen.
I guess I'm more on the side of just don't even if you're gonna do that, don't even show them until
You
like
have
the
a
next
handful of
episode
them.
where you have more time, or I guess.
It almost makes me think
All
like
about
if some of it,
time.
yeah, Harry Potter book 3 time. It makes me think like, is it contractually like some of these actors have to be in a certain number of episodes that they just force the story to happen that way at times?
Yeah.
I feel like that's got to be a thing.
I feel like they also might use it as a way of showing chronological time, like how long these people have been on like a journey that we're not necessarily privy to. So hey, we're just gonna like pop in here where they're like walking through the forest or the desert or
Like, golly, what a day.
exactly. I like that song, but
Robin Hood and Little John running through the forest.
it is on it
Trying to
every
figure out
time.
what the other one's trying to say.
and you just get like just this little like quick thing, and then we don't see him again, and you realize, wow, it's been a year, so now something exciting a year later is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care. I'd rather just have the big stories. More Bolds dying. Not really. I really liked him, but that was epic.
Here's gonna get to my least favorite thing: Grey Worm and Barristan being cut down in the streets. It's not that I dislike it story wise. I'm not supposed to like it. I like both of those characters quite a bit, and I hope they make it.
Me too.
Unfortunate.
Poor Masan. Yeah, Grey Worm has to make it. He has to. That'll break my heart.
Oh, her little heart.
Masandi.
Now let's get to our favorite things. My favorite thing was cool Papa Barristan. One, telling his old stories a bit, getting Danny some more information about Rhaegar, which is always cool, and yeah, just kind of going ham on these harpies. Glenny?
Skip me for now.
Skip Glenn for now. Abby.
I'm gonna go. I think it's like the very opening scene. No, it's like Jaime and Bronn, and they get caught on the beach coming in, and Bronn or Jaime says something about the sharks. They're like, there's no sharks here. Like, it just is super.
There are no sharks in Dorne.
It's just so funny, and I think Gretchen mentioned it. Like, just those little quick humorous things. Like, when else would it be unfortunate for there not to be sharks in the ocean or the sea? Like, only here, this one time when they used it.
That's weird, yeah. I mean, I've watched Shark Week before, or certain.
Did they ever visit Dorne at Shark Week? I mean, were they right?
I mean, they've pretty much been to every
Pretty
ocean
much
I've
like
ever been.
the way, like I recall, like I guess sharks they're definitely like certain areas throughout the world that they're like kind of go to or whatever. But like I'd figure Dorne would be one of the.
Warm?
Yeah, but now you have to wonder:
Like
does
a
Dorne
shark.
have the jets? Because
Sharks and the Jets.
thank you, somebody's.
Only thing I know about sharks
The Jets drove out all the sharks.
is Baby Shark, and Mommy
Yo,
Shark,
God, don't you
and
dare!
Daddy Shark,
Don't
and
you
Grandpa
dare!
Shark, and Grandma. No,
I'm the only one without toddler. Well, I guess yours probably are into
When
it.
you're
Never
a
mind.
jet.
I don't know. I don't know the sharks.
Be
Baby
thankful.
Shark. Do, 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 do.
Oh, you made her sing it.
We'll teach you tonight.
No,
We'll
we
teach
won't.
Griffin.
There you go.
No, you won't.
What's his
He's gonna
name?
keep watching Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Clovis.
Phone's out with this one.
Clovis is out like a lantern.
He's out like a cucumber. All right, Benj, what was your favorite thing?
Stannis and Shireen. It was a very cute scene. It was, like I said, one thing they've done right with Stannis, and he really is just a good dad.
Fair enough, Gretchen.
I said it before, I'll say it again. I really liked that scene with the Faith Militant just kind of destroying the town. I thought it was edited really well. I liked the music. I liked how it kind of raised the stakes in the city. Thought it was good fun.
All right, Glenn, you got one now?
Yeah.
Favorite thing?
Tyrion and Jorah.
Yeah.
I just like a good 1-2 punch. I mean, obviously 2 good characters.
Mm-hmm.
What could go wrong?
That's a good question.
And we haven't gotten them like conversating yet either.
Well, kind of. They're
There's some moment. You're right. But once. Okay, never mind. That'll be my prediction. They will conversate, and it will be
they'll
glorious.
talk more.
That's a safe bet.
Soon.
They'll listen
Go
to
with
what
that one.
the other one has to say.
All right, so I think that pretty much wraps us up here. We're going to do a real quick shout out to another podcast of ours. We're going to throw it over to Abby for the podcast that fights in F words.
Well, a podcast that fights in F words features myself, Bailey, and sometimes Joe, also known as Not Your Average Joe.
Not your average, sometimes Joe.
Sometimes Joe or not your average
Sometimes
Joe.
why. But it goes through all things Outlander. We're following the Stars TV series. It will be a little bit quicker version than this here. We cover multiple episodes of theirs in each one of ours. hitting highlights and getting you geared up for the big debut on November 4th. I believe later on tonight we will have a sneak peek on the live stream. If you are interested, hang out with me and Bailey. We'd love to have you. And you can check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. And we'd really like you to check us out on Radio Public. They're giving me the signs of what to say. Radio Public is where we want you to go. No, it just helps us out.
Radio Public.
We're in the
theater.
But anyways, anytime you listen to our podcast on Radio Public, we get a nice kickback and you get a nice feature of finding all other content you might like. Boom.
All right, so moving forward to the next port of the shoe. Port of the shoe. First time Watcher on the Wall predictions. Abby, you've been hinting at a few throughout this episode.
Yeah, they're all over this paper here. So we're going to start with Jorah and Tyrion.
Okay.
I think one dies and one gets parted.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to predict who, but I just feel like one of them does.
Oh, gotta say, you gotta pick one.
So hard.
Gut feeling.
Tyrion lives.
Okay,
The
so you're saying that
Tyrion-
Danny
The Tyrion
puts
that lives
the bear down.
with a tranquilizer.
I made
gun.
the prediction and I'm like
So he's
totally
gonna come
like
back.
going against it
It's
because
in the work.
it's
It's
what
done.
they said. So I always like when those things come to fruition.
Set in stone.
I just don't see it.
Jorah
But anyways,
dies.
I think somebody gets grayscale for sure. This is like, we have never heard about grayscale. They think maybe once in the first season or something, because you told me that was that. And then we see Shireen, but it is never explained
Okay.
until this season. And now this is like episode 1, 2, not
Yeah, it's
wait,
been a
the
few
third
yeah.
times. So I just don't think they don't mention people's names that aren't important. They don't mention illnesses that are not important. Something's happening.
They don't mention Mike that has grayscale.
No.
So
I don't
do you
care about him.
think the Titan of Bravos is going to be excited
When
that
he
Mace
gets grayscale.
Tyrell is sending
I
Cersei's
actually,
regards?
I actually have a prediction about him.
Okay,
This
all
one,
right.
this one is like for real set in stone. I don't think we see Mace Tyrell ever again.
Okay.
Ever.
So he's out.
He's gone. Nobody asks about him. Nobody thinks about. Like we just.
He sends
This is
regards
his-
and then
This is his
done.
curtain call or whatever. This is it.
All right. All right, last prediction.
Mm,
I missed number 2, so but that's all right.
Number 2 is somebody's
So
going
wait,
to get
wait,
grayscale.
hold on.
Yeah.
Have you
Oh,
seen the
okay.
movie Apocalypse Now?
I don't remember.
You don't remember. Anyways, it's about like the Vietnam War. This one like kind of general or something, he gets like caught in like Cambodia and he just like stays there.
Mm-hmm.
That's his like new. That's what's gonna happen to Mace, I think.
I'm now a Bravosi.
and it's wonderful.
They like
Sorry,
me
Glenn,
here.
I think I was thinking of a Full Metal Jacket line. How can you shoot women and children? Easy. You just lead them for less.
You just lead him. How can you shoot women and children? Isn't war hell?
Abby, 4th prediction.
All right.
So I have predicted this before that Shireen is in trouble. I don't know if it was an official prediction.
Set in stone here.
Set in stone. It's actually, as we were talking about it tonight, we used Gentry, his blood. I think John she wants him, and I think I just realized that if a king's blood is powerful, Shireen has a king's blood. She's done. I think this is gonna be bad. I think it's gonna be like a big. I don't even know. Maybe. I really hope this like is the rift that breaks Stannis and Melisandre apart. I think Mel's gonna go after her for her blood, and that will be too much for Stannis. But I don't necessarily think Stannis will be able to beat her.
All right.
If that makes sense. I don't
Sure.
know.
I think that makes sense.
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't really. It doesn't even make
No.
sense to me.
Not sure.
Why does she have king's blood? Dang.
Sucks.
Does-
Sucks. All right,
She has king's scale.
Glenn, what's your house name?
My house name is Glenn of House Dog.
What are your house words?
You miss 99% of the shots you don't take.
What's that sigil?
Spuds McKenzie with a Wayne Gretzky number 99 jersey on.
How about your house sword?
House sword name is Johnny Utah.
Where do you live at?
Da Vale.
What gods do you
Dem
celebrate?
new gods.
You got a horse?
Horse meat.
What about a familiar?
Rich the Flying Squirrel.
Where's your ancestral home?
Castle at Beast Mountain.
That hometown newspaper.
The Moon Door Bee.
Famous ancestor.
The Duff.
House minstrel or fool.
Barube the Barf.
What's your personal Twitter?
At Popsicle Stand.
Final thought?
I don't got anything.
Okay, Abby. House name.
I am Gertie of House Condescension.
House words.
We don't quit.
Sigil.
A field of white with a raven sitting atop a black appointed chevron.
Sword name.
Gunther.
There you go. Oh, you're not even looking at it, man.
No,
It's like you almost know him too.
My horse and my sword, I get mixed up.
Where
They're one
are
and the same.
you from?
I live beyond the wall.
And what religion?
We pray to the old gods.
What's your horse name?
Odin.
And your animal's name?
JJ. She's a honey badger. Short for Judge Judy.
And your ancestral home?
We hail from Gertie's Gallows.
Hometown newspaper?
The Nightly Raven.
Famous house ancestor?
Casey Jones. Shoot. I was thinking Mance. I'm like, it's not Mance Raider.
Mance Raider.
It's probably Mance Raider.
That's like the only name that was going to my
Ned Stark.
Yeah, totally.
Tyrion Stark.
Tim Berners-Lee.
House minstrel or fool?
We don't have one. We don't joke
We
around.
joke around.
We kick ass.
Personal Twitter.
You can find me on Twitter at GoHomeGertie.
Final thought.
Good episode.
Okay.
Good.
Gretchen. House name.
Gretchen of House Lopper.
House words.
Girls just want to have fun.
I'm seeing a trend already. I love it. House sigil.
Crazy pink hair with red lips underneath.
Fair enough. House sword.
True Cleaver.
What region are you from?
The Stormlands.
What's your house religion?
Goddess Lopper.
Your horse name
Cindy.
and your animal?
80 the Flamingo.
80.
80.
Ancestral home?
Astoria, Queens.
Story. I love it. Oh God, I can't even wait for this one. Hometown newspaper.
Times after time.
Famous house ancestor.
Lady Gaga.
Your famous or your house minstrel or fool.
Avalon the Psychic, which is Cyndi Lauper's character on Bones.
What's your personal Twitter?
It's at Gretcha Sketcha.
Final thought?
Solid ep. No complaints.
Solid ep.
Solid ep.
Run of the mill.
I am Lucan of House Blackmead. House words are ours is the drink. Our house sigil is an obsidian black chalice on a gold and blue checky background. House sword is a Valyrian steel axe called Sweet Sting. And we did recently move from the Riverlands to the Stormlands as well. So right down the road from, I think, old Gretchen Sketcha there. And house religion is the old gods still. We took some weirwood seeds with us. We rode down on Cherry. I took Paris the Parrot with me. We also took the big oversized load truck and moved Black Cask Keep to the Stormlands as well. We relocated the printing press for the Drowned Word as well. The whole town came with us, really.
Wide load.
Wide load.
Sell out.
Basically. Famous ancestor is Ashmere Rivers. House Minstrel is also a fool, and his name is Dingle.
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 Dingle the berry.
You forgot to say Ashmere Rivers.
You'll learn more later.
Thank
I didn't
you.
forget. I left it out. personal Twitter at Luca Ferocious. Final thought, it was good seeing a different side of Stannis here a bit, and Mel is doing Mel stuff with her friends. Benj, house name,
I am Sly of House McLean.
house words,
It's dangerous to drink alone.
house Sidge,
3 golden triangles and a field of red and black.
house sword.
Konami, because they make blades of steel.
Where you from?
We're from the Reach.
What's your religion?
We pray to the gods of tits and wine.
Your horse name?
We ride Peach all night long.
Your familiar?
Ares the Phoenix.
Ancestral home?
Tower of Hera, watch out for Mordorn.
Hometown newspaper?
The Daily Sun.
Famous house ancestor?
My great uncle John, savior of winter celebrations.
House minstrel or fool?
We have Nickeldum, the singing mime.
Personal Twitter?
At Slime McLean.
Final thought?
Final thought is a decent enough episode. It's some good, some bad. Just kind of was what it was.
All right, fair enough. Become a patron to get early access to our epilogue episodes and our seasonal merchandise clubs. We have 2 different ones. One's for merchandise items, one's for t-shirts and such. So check those out. Learn more at patreon.com/stayimaginary. For all of the ways you can help keep our beer bank full, check out thepodcastthat.com/support us. Follow us on Twitter at KnowAndDrink. Send us a digital raven to knowanddraink@gmail.com. Subscribe, like, rate, and leave comments on iTunes and YouTube. Remember to listen to the Drinks and Nose podcast on Radio Public. It's free, easy to use, and helps listeners like you find and support shows like ours. When you listen to our show on Radio Public's Android or iOS app, everyone benefits. Until next time.
As always, I still don't know, so I'll just drink.
As always, don't turn your back on the wolf pack.
As always, winter is coming, and so am I.
As always, when you gonna live your life right?
As always, stay imaginary.
Imagery.
Stay imaging.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Only won $5.
$5.
Blocks.
All right, Gretch, I think you're heading out.
I think
It's
Stannis.
getting-
I
will
do.
win.
Yeah.
To go to sleep.
I think we are going to skip our epilogue episode this time, and if you guys are ready to roll right into your fights and F words episode, we can start doing that.
Yours probably more connected than I am at this point, so
Well, let's
If you don't
let's
know,
put on the
now you know.
let's say goodbye to Gretchen. Thank you for joining
Bye,
us.
everyone.
Goodbye.
Thanks,
Bye,
Gretchen.
Gretch.
I'll see you later.
Yep.
Don't forget to live your life right. Bye.
See ya. We are going to take a short break, and yeah, we'll be back shortly after a short break, which won't be very long.
It will
and
be.
might
It will be
short.
short.
might be short.
For the kids at home, it's gonna be
For our
short.
kids at home, making water. We haven't used the making water thing in a while.
Abby's got to go and get more scratch offs.
We're back.
We are back, and we are recording an episode of the podcast that fights in F words. I'm going to be your host for the evening. I am Bailey, also known as Sassy McGlassy. Abby, do you want to introduce your Highlander name?
Of course I do. I am Abby, sometimes known as Gertie, but tonight will be known as Tasty McNugget.
And we are not joined by Joe, who is, what is he, Laird Seamus McStuffins.
Yep. Yes.
All right, so we are going to be discussing Outlander Season 2, Episode 4. Episode title is La Dame Blanche. It was 59 minutes long and initially aired on April 30th, 2016. Was directed by Douglas McKinnon and written by Tony Graffia. For our TV Guide synopsis, Claire is poisoned and questions Master Raymond about who he may have sold it to no avail. She does, however, end up with a necklace that will reveal the presence of poison. Claire finally tells Jamie about Blackjack, and Jamie is overjoyed, as this means he still has a chance to witness Blackjack's death with his own eyes. Louise reveals that she is with child, but the father is not her husband. At long last, Jamie and Claire's sex life is rekindled. Bonnie Prince Charlie visits in the middle of the night, and Claire comes to the realization that he is the father of Louise's child. Claire and Mary get some work in at the hospital, but things run late, and on their way home, they are attacked in the streets. Myrta is no match for the attackers, Mary is raped, and Claire is proclaimed to be La Dame Blanche. Jamie reveals Louise's pregnancy, and Bonnie Prince Charlie drinks to deal with the news. Mary wakes in a terror, a misunderstanding occurs, and a fight breaks out.
That all happened in episode 4?
That was all one episode.
Holy moly. Okay.
I know, there was a lot to take in this one.
Okay. I mean, I remember all these things happening, but I was thinking that was like,
It sounds like 3 episodes rolled into one.
Right, okay, cool. We're moving today.
All right, you want to start us off with a discussion?
Sure. So we do find out that Louise is with child. It is not her husband's, and she basically asks Claire to help her get rid of the baby, to assist her in this. And I find that Claire's response to it, like we have said multiple times, she is like beyond her years or time in understanding and mental health and women's rights and all these things. She's such a modern woman. I don't think she necessarily would tell her no, and she doesn't. She says, we could do these things, they could kill you. But she ends with the comment about all that matters is the child is brought up with love, which I just think is fitting.
It's such a beautiful sentiment.
It is. And, we know she was raised. I don't know. Adopted is fine. But by her uncle, Lamb. And it's been her whole life that she felt love from him and didn't necessarily. I mean, I'm sure she missed her parents, especially having known them. And as we move forward here, I don't really know. I don't want to spoil people who have never seen it, but this is weird because we're online. On live. So
well, if they've never seen it, please,
just stay on.
Do
It'll
yourself
be fine.
a favor. Don't spoil yourself.
Yeah.
Proceed at your own risk.
Yeah, I will try. And I think that she truly, it's not just like, something you say, everything will be okay. I think it's just Claire. She's quite a girl.
Well, and her thoughts on, as long as the baby is loved is really telling as to her situation that we saw in the first episode of this season. With Frank. Frank raising her unborn child as his own.
You're right. So that's what I was like, moving on, but technically you would have already seen it if you've seen season 2, so we're good. Yeah, it's crazy. Season 2 gets you're going to start the season, make sure you double check. Make sure you got the right one when you start that one. But I also think it's funny. Oh, so sorry, I was just grabbing my note here. So Louise says, Claire's like, well, you could convince your husband that it was his, and she's like, I'd have to actually sleep with him, like, like okay, and she's, and then she's like, well, if you don't, then like, what's gonna happen? He's like, well, you'll have me arrested, our marriage annulled, like. I don't condone cheating on your spouse or anything like that, but geez, to be arrested. I think there was another severe punishment. I'm sorry I didn't write it down now, but like I dire straits here for Miss Louise, who is so funny.
Yeah, well, and her comment on what is it? My lover will be so disappointed if I sleep with my husband.
He'll be angry. Yeah, he'll be like this. Let's go on to the lover then. Let's just jump ship to over there.
Yeah.
Bonnie Prince Charlie on a rooftop.
He's got some game.
He has some game. I mean, reading this and historically looking back, I mean, you can look up what Bonnie Prince Charlie looked like, or you can read about his fancy dressing and all this stuff. This actor, I don't know what it is. I just believe it. I'm like, that's just Bonnie Prince Charlie.
Yeah.
I like him. And so he's bitten by a monkey.
And we know Louise has a monkey.
We know Louise has a monkey. We know she has a lover. We're putting 2 and 2 and 3 together, and
yeah, and we know that Bonnie Prince Charlie just got in an argument with his lover.
Right. So, the first thing you do when you have all this information that you have surmised is you have a dinner. Invite everybody.
Everyone we know. We will spoil your information for you.
we will have arch nemesis. We will have lovers and husbands.
The Duke, who may or may not be on our side.
We still don't know, honestly. Will we ever? Who knows?
He's kind of like the microfinger.
Yeah,
he's playing all of the sides.
Every side. And he's got like octagon is as big as a shape I can think of with sides right now. Sorry, I wish I would have been stronger on my shape knowledge. Disappointing. The only other thing about the dinner, I guess we should mention here on the live streams, you are just getting like one episode tonight of our part 2. Yeah, season 2, part 2. So when we release it, it will actually be like part 2 will be episodes 4 through 8, 4 through 7, just depending on what the breakup of the season flows better. But so we go through these definitely really quick, hitting highlights or things we like. The last thing I will mention about the dinner is, one, it's an exciting dinner for many reasons. 2, this is where it all went wrong. This is it. Claire looks at Jamie and says, "Don't worry, honey. I'll be home in plenty of time." Wrong.
Like, famous last words,
yeah,
Claire.
Yeah, way to go. I for sure will be home.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
You're right? I mean, no, this is what, I'm so glad you said. She says, "I give you my word." You don't say that to JB and not do it. Like,
well, and especially on something you don't know what's gonna happen. You can't control things, Claire.
They're here because of Claire. Like, he's playing this game and in this situation and influencing all these people because of her.
Yeah. So, I will screw over the Jacobites for you, Claire.
Yes, fine. Right, we'll lie to all these people that I care. Oh dear, fine.
I promise I will be there.
Yep. Oh, wait. We got held up. No. Jamie
Actually.
would be the worst of the worst if he was actually angry, but he just shouldn't have said that. And everything would have been fine.
Yeah.
Darn it, Claire. If you could only go back in time. Do it again. That was a terrible dad joke.
All these time references.
I know.
Okay, so Claire finally tells Jamie that she knows Blackjack is still alive. Are we shocked by Jamie's reaction?
Completely. I mean, I think in our heads, we know Jamie is smart. He's calculating. But he is also a hothead. I mean, like, there's a time and a place. He'll... And by the end of this episode that we actually record, not with you guys on YouTube here, we'll see, I believe it's in this, where we see him just kind of snap. But, yeah, completely surprised.
Yeah, I did not expect him to be quite so overjoyed that he's still alive.
I expect a little... I was hoping for, like, let's look at the situation at hand, and him being like, okay, all right, like, I love you, Claire, and you're right, I know you're right, but I'm processing, I'm dealing. No, he's like, you have given me a blessing. This is wonderful.
This is the greatest news I could have gotten.
Uh-huh. Murder is a gift.
This is even better than the Jacobite's failing.
Like, what in the actual world? Watching the blood or the life drain from his eyes and being responsible. I mean, geez, Louise. I mean, I think Jamie deserves that luxury if that's what he wants. That's fine, but like, you're right. Just his total like overjoyedness, and then okay, you're overjoyed that you get to kill him, but he says, like, I have no intention of going after him right now. That would be silly to abandon our. Who are you? Like, who?
And what have you done with Jamie Fraser?
I know, like, fighting, like, I don't know.
I think my favorite part of this whole scene is afterwards when Myrta finds out that Jamie now knows. And the look Claire gives him, like, of course he was going to be okay with it. I told you.
Yes. It's pretty amazing. Those two, like, I don't know what you were so worried about. Like, lady, like, we both sat worried, conference over
We had
this.
the same worries.
We powwowed.
And now you're pretending like it didn't exist.
I know. It's perfect. I really feel like season 2 is like, Jamie and Claire are always going to be MVPs in these episodes. It's their story, and they're fascinating people and fascinating characters who are very, very real, and they get angry with each other as you would get angry with somebody that you love and have expectations of. But Myrta in season 2, ooh, he's awesome. He's the man.
He is. All right. Anything else you'd like to discuss about this episode?
No, I mean, there's a lot more to the episode, guys. I would love for you guys to watch Outlander. We just kind of hit some of our favorite points. There's about 4 more pages of notes because I don't always know what Bailey's going to ask, just in case she asks me about something.
There's no trivia in this show, Abby.
No, but, if you're like, hey, remember that time? And I'm like, nah.
Sure.
Bailey, take it away.
Is this back to like Dario 1.0 versus Dario 2.0?
And I'm like, yeah, it's totally. And then I'm
Sure
like,
thing.
mind blow. Oh, it's a different person being the same person. Fine. Dario it was just a Dario moment. It's fine. Yep, nope.
All right.
We're good.
Okay, for this episode, we have a Would You Rather. Would you rather know Blackjack is already dead and just be happy with it, or have Blackjack still be alive and have the chance to see him die?
I'd rather him just be dead. Like, the sooner the better. Wouldn't say, like, I would never kill a person or something. Like, Blackjack, if I was Jamie or Claire, I'd see you later, sayonara. But the sooner the better with that man, because I feel like every day he walks the face of the earth, somebody else is probably victimized. So get out of here.
That hit everything I was going to say.
Sorry,
I completely
Bailey.
agree.
We should write notes so I don't steal your thoughts.
I should just not ask for questions.
I mean, when you were great thoughts, what can you do?
Exactly.
All right, well, that's it.
All right. Do you have a favorite fight or F word for this episode?
Oh, man. So, yeah, I do have a favorite fight. And it's actually a legitimate, like, argument between Claire and Jamie. And it's when he comes in with bite marks on his thighs. And she's like, what? Why are there bite marks? When even this time, like, part of me was like, the monkey got out and he was trying to help, because I knew, like, the Charles Stewart stuff was coming. And I was like, he's like, oh my gosh. And just his complete honesty here, one is baffling. Who goes home was like, yeah, you know, she kind of revved me up, but that's great because now I can feel. And Claire's like, bro, fuck you.
Claire's like, honey, I understand you're working in a brothel right now, but this is too much.
Yes. And so it becomes kind of heated, and they both just get out, like, they're off their chest things that until this point, it's not that they were trying to lie or cover it up, but the words just weren't there. And so
the words weren't there, and they weren't in a place to talk about it. They both had so much going on.
Exactly. So we get this kind of blow up that ends up with him being angry, which, I mean, I think he has a right. He did come home. Like, it's just an awkward walk lightly situation. But, you know, he gives her the validation of, I was lost, but you built me a shelter, a lean-to, like, to keep the rain off me. She gets the validation, like, her efforts weren't just ridiculous and didn't matter, and it didn't just take some random good-looking whore to, like, get. So I just think both of them here, we have a decent resolution, and I like that Claire almost, like, not gives in or lets him win, but she goes to find him. She chases a little bit here. So this, not the normal fight or fuck we talk about, but it's a good one. The fight before it.
Yeah, so your favorite fight leads into my favorite fuck, which is Claire and Jamie. Finally, new couple name.
Clary.
Yeah. Finally getting it on and getting over themselves.
Yes. Like, man, jump back on the horse. Get back on the bike.
Get back on Jamie.
Yes, right? You're right. It's a good one.
It's been a long time coming.
It has.
I'm happy it happened in the way it did with them fighting beforehand. They had a lot that they needed to discuss.
Instead of just being like one day, okay, everything's fine.
I'm ready now.
I'm so in love with you. It doesn't matter. No, they, like, hashed out what was the issue. I loved it. Yeah, it was perfect. Oh, so this whole scene right here that I have one of the little, I don't really know what you call it. Luke, get down here so you can tell me what these little signs are called. But anyways, bracketed. This whole scene is brilliant. It just feels so real. Like, you could have this blow up argument that's not really, you hate somebody or you're so mad, you are personally walking through so much, and you just lay it out there, and then, hey, we can bear it together. I loved it. I was hiding behind a blade of grass. I'm like, oh, Jamie, poor little thing. Claire, hug him. You know?
That's such, like, a deep emotion for a big strapping man like Jamie to have.
Yeah.
He's like, I just felt so small.
He's a conundrum, that Jamie. Really is.
That he is. All right, I think that covers everything we have to talk about for season 2.
Sorry, Bailey, if you talked. I got a little bit laggy here on the internet, so whatever she said, I agree. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I just said I think that covered everything we had to talk about for this episode.
Perfect. Yeah. So you can find us at thepodcastthat.com. You will be able to listen to us on Radio Public here in a few short days. And you can check out the rest of season 2 we're going to call them part 2. Or parts. Season 2, part 2, instead of just episode 4. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
Good night, Chad. I would
Follow
turn
us
you
on
off.
Twitter.
I won't really turn you off because I don't really know how to do those things. Only Luke does. He's upstairs. But yeah.
We need our technical support.
Teggy! What's the number? Number to tech support. But anyways, we do appreciate you. I would talk to you on the chat too, but I can't. My phone died. I'm at Luke's house. Man. He took the computer. I don't even know if he has a keyboard for this. I know.
The Luke signal.
Luke, I know. And you know what else happened to me today? I got locked out. I'm staying with my parents while I'm here in St. Louis. I got locked out of their house because somebody locked the door before we left, and I said, "Hey, don't lock the door," but it got locked. So I had 6 children with me in the pouring rain. It's like 40 degrees outside. We get back in my car, and I'm loading the Target bags back into my van. It's a mom. I call it my mom-mobile. Loading them back into my mom-mobile, and I'm standing out there trying to contact a sibling, throwing up bat signals. Actually using Slack that we use here on the podcast because they're all on it. So I'm like, I need keys. Somebody give it to me. I'm standing there, and my purse, literally, the strap just breaks off my arm, and my whole contents of my purse just fall into the most giant puddle. I'm like, oh boy, this just really is it wasn't a bad day, just unfortunate.
It's just one of those days.
I just looked around, I'm like, it's literally a gigantic black cloud covering St. Louis, but I guess it's all for me. That's all right. It was just really funny. Luke's not listening, but that's okay. Chat, I think it looks like Luke's the last one to host for a little while. So, I'm going to run upstairs. Bailey, if you want to hang out or you want to jump off, up to you, friend.
I don't know what it'll do to the hangout if I jump off.
True. Don't jump off. You're like, my phone is dead. I don't know how to use it.
Did you say goodbye to everyone in the chat?
I think so.
We sure did.
Hello, chat. I'm back. The one that actually can click buttons.
Well, I couldn't really see the chat, and I didn't know. Like,
Our fearless leader.
Anything, so like, it's so tiny down there.
Thank you, anyone still in the chat. We appreciate you hanging out with us, and we will see you next week.